It's that time again. Welcome to the stage. Oh yeah. Where energy and creativity collide. Here we go. Let's level up. Make this something to remember. All right.
Hello everybody and welcome to the NACE 2022 fall season. It has been a long few months of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate action. Then we have 4 teams vying for one of those coveted playoff spots in today's last chance qualifier. But before we get to that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mees and this is Dak. Dak, where you been, man?
Oh, dude, I've been missing out on some great action, first of all, but I was just in Miami for Let's Make Moves Miami. It was a great event, doing some Smash there, and now I'm back for the last chance qualifier here, like you said, during the NACE Star League 2022 fall season. It's going to be awesome. Of course, if you've been following this along, you know what the deal is. We had the regular season, a grueling gauntlet of weeks play, then we got the conference play-in, and then we jumped into the conference championship this past weekend, only to now find ourselves in the last chance qualifier before we head over to the playoffs, where we will find out who will be the top teams heading into the grand finals. And I can't wait to find out who those teams are going to be.
And we have a really hot couple of matches today, but here we go over the schedule again. Like Dak said, regular season is done. Conference playoffs were last week, and they were fantastic. Today, the LCQ playoffs next week, grand finals after that. And man, there are just so many talented schools. I can't wait to see who fights through the playoffs and eventually makes it to the grand finals. But for today, we have a few schools we haven't seen on broadcast and 2 schools that we saw a while ago in match number 1. It is going to be Oakland University up against St. Ambrose. And in match number 2, it will be Michigan Tech University up against Dallas Baptist University. We've seen Oakland before. We've seen DBU before. St. Ambrose and Michigan Tech, a bit of a mystery to both of us. Haven't yet seen them on the broadcast, but hey, if they made it this far, they must be very talented.
Absolutely, yeah. Oakland went 5-2 in the regular season. They actually defeated Michigan Tech in the conference playoffs, only to fall to Northwood, which is one of the strongest teams that we've seen throughout the season. And they, like you said, they'll be taking on St. Ambrose, who went 3-3 in the regular season and lost immediately in the conference playoffs. So definitely a bit of a favorite here for Oakland going into our first match of the night. Actually, the strongest team in terms of regular season record going into this entire broadcast here tonight. And of course, all these players and all these teams are still playing for that scholarship prizing, 2K for first, 1K for second, and 500 for third. That's what's on the line, aside from bragging rights, aside from representing their team and their school and trying to make sure that they're the best. And that's what they're playing for.
And you know what? You know who else is playing for us? Extra Life. They are fantastic. Everyone, please join our super team page today. Click the banner below for more information. NACE Star League also runs on Duncan. You can click the Twitch panel below for more information on how to find a Duncan near you. And also ROTC, become a leader for life. And you know what? Big shout out to ROTC, because we actually have a giveaway. Dak, our friends at Army ROTC want to give you, yes you, a chance to win a free Camo Herschel Little America Backpack Pro. Check out the NACE Star League Twitter to enter, and I have a Herschel backpack myself. These things are fantastic. I wish I was eligible to join. Am I eligible to join this? I might do that, but I would love to have this backpack. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. Be sure to check that out for sure. And yeah, of course, shout outs to what we've got going on here tonight. It is our usual crew battles. Teams of 4 competing in a crew battle format. Stocks carry over for each match, and then they are best of 3 crew battles. If you've been following throughout the season, you know what the deal is. If you're new, it is one of the most awesome formats in Smash. It is crew battles, and this is how it runs. So excited to be jumping into this one. And we've been having some absolutely fantastic matches throughout the season. And for our first match of the night, we have, of course, our two teams ahead of us right now, Oakland University versus St. Ambrose. Oakland, they have Werble Nerfer, Spectral, Trisket, and Typhoon. We've seen them actually twice in the broadcast already in Week 4 and Week 6. And then, as you alluded to already, St. Ambrose University, this is their first time. I'll Be Fresh, Big Boy, Blueby, and Balloon Pants. Not Balloon Pants, Balloon Pants, apparently. These are our two teams duking it out for our first match of the night.
A lot of B names on that SAU team. That's
right.
That's a bit of a tongue twister there, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they use. We do know the first player is going to be for SAU. It's going to be Blubby with Bayonetta, so already a pretty strong character to start. But again, if they've made it up until this point, made it this far, I'm sure their roster is really good. I'm sure every single player on this team is also very solid. But man, Oakland, we've seen Oakland, like you said, we've seen them twice before. Very good team, very solid, really well balanced team as well. So I think St. Ambrose is going to have a bit of trouble here. As you see, we both actually took Oakland University to take this match. I think that's just based a bit more on familiarity. We've seen Oakland, we know what they can do, and we know what they're capable of. Not the best team in the entire season, but definitely one of those solid middle teams that could really, they can take out anybody, I think, slightly above them. They might lose to someone slightly below them, but they're one of those teams that's just right in the middle, maybe on the higher end of middle. And St. Ambrose, like you said, just haven't seen them before, not familiar with their roster. So I think we just both kind of picked Oakland as the safe pick there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Oakland before, so that's kind of why I'm going, on their end. They beat Siena Heights in Week 4. Their Week 6 loss was to Northwood, so I mean that's a really fine loss, right? So I can't really chalk that up against them. And we saw Triscuit's Pac-Man, do some crazy work in that Week 4 match against Siena Heights. I think it was one of our first super record-breaking kind of runs with that Pac-Man, taking out, I think it was 12 stocks that first week. So I'm excited to see them. They also have, wasn't listed, I believe, but they have Werble Nerfer, Spectral, Trisket. I think Typhoon was the Sephiroth. Poison Jam is also available to them, Kazuya. So they have a pretty solid bench, and they have the best record of the 4 teams playing tonight. So I think that was a safe bet prediction-wise. For St. Ambrose, as you said, Blubby is going to be Bayonetta, and there's just a quick, check here. I think Big Boy might be a King Dedede or a Ness. I'll Be Fresh, I think might be a Byleth, and then I didn't find a Balloon Pants. I did find a Balloon Pants, though, and they play Zelda, according to Smash Data. So I'm going to assume that is the same Balloon Pants, and so that would mean we're probably getting a Bayo, Dedede, Byleth, Zelda run here. Of course, this is just based on the little research we do have, and players do like to change things up. That's all about crews as we jump into this. And our first matchup is already heading our way. It's already kicked off here, Mies, as we get into this first game of the night.
Yeah, 29% already. The match barely even started. We have Trisket over on the side of Oakland with the Pac-Man, St. Ambrose with Blubby, and the Bayonetta. Pac-Man, a character that I feel like we've seen almost every week here during the Nation Star League 2022 fall season. A very popular crew battle character, a very, very solid character. Oh my god, jeez. One of those characters that just kind of in the middle for the weight weight-wise, so they have a decent amount of survivability. They're defensive as well, and they can take stocks almost like no other. But man, right now, Blubby going absolutely off on Trisket.
Yeah, Pac-Man definitely a character that doesn't have any super polarizing matchups, and also kind of matchup checks people. If you don't really know what to do against Pac-Man, he can really eviscerate you if you don't know how to approach, how to combo, how to get out of disadvantage against a character that has a lot of tools at mid and long range that a lot of players just might not be able to deal with, and that's one of those tools at short range that's certainly going to kill you. The Bell setup gets that first kill here for Trisket.
And you know what? I think we're going to start to see Blubby struggle a little bit. Famously in Smash Ultimate, Bayonetta does sometimes struggle to get some KOs. Really good at taking you from 0 to 80, 90, beyond. But because they don't really have that one consistent kill move other than back air, they can struggle to actually take KOs, which is why we might actually see... Never mind, I was going to say, we might actually see Trisket get a bit of a big lead here, but right when I say that, they managed to land that forward smash. But before they landed that forward smash, we did see Blubby go for a few, I think it's an up smash in there, a couple of missed forward smashes, so you saw them just trying very desperately to get something out.
Yeah, just ended up air dodging inward towards a forward smash. You don't really want to be doing that. And just this item play on Triscuit's side has been absolutely fantastic so far. Goes for the forward smash, and he got grabbed as a result out of it, but then gets at a disadvantage with that hydrant immediately. And you can see how Blubby is immediately using that down air to get that hydrant some damage. Can they get the kill off this? No. And like you were alluding to, yeah, Bayo having some trouble killing. Triscuit does not. That's a second time they've gotten the kill off the Bell confirm. And now can they get the extra credit going?
And then right there, we saw Blubby right off the Angel platform go for a forward smash again. They've definitely been kind of letting them rip, I guess, for lack of a better term. Haven't really been hitting too many. As you see another one there, that was actually a good one to get rid of the fire hydrant. But you're going to need to do a lot more than that to hit Triscuit. Triscuit's just playing so evasively, jumping up, using the hydrant. And if he's not jumping around, he has the Galaga in front of him, using that kind of as a shield to block off any approach from Bayonetta. And I feel like every time he goes for the Bell, they go for the Bell, they manage to land it, and that's probably going to be game. And yes, it is Triscuit with a convincing victory over Blubby here in game number 1 for Oakland.
Yeah, and got that second stock refresh as well. So Triscuit, again, a player that is an extremely solid opener for this Oakland squad, and getting rid of the Bayonetta. I'm not sure what happened on the bottom of that stage there. I think they might have just didn't have the second witch twist and didn't have the jump. I don't believe they touched the trampoline though,
no,
so I'm interested to see, because Bayonetta is a character that very often does not have trouble getting back onto stage, but when it was when the match was happening on the stage, it was all Triscuit all day. And it really, a lot of that play revolved around the Bell and the Galaga, right? Because the Bell was that kill confirm setup, and then you're able to just ward away that dive kick in and get combos up when you have that Galaga kind of spinning in front of you just outside of Pac-Man's burst range. So really solid job there by Triscuit to take on that matchup. And now St. Ambrose, I mean, unless these players have some different characters up their sleeve, it's interesting. They have like potentially a King Dedede, a Byleth, or a Zelda, characters that could potentially be hit or miss. Out of all of those, I mean, I think Byleth might end up being one of the more effective ones. Zelda, though, is a Wi-Fi warrior. So is King Dedede.
So is Ness.
So is Ness, exactly. So interested to see how our Pac-Man main handles those.
And just looking at the rosters for both teams, if in fact it is a Byleth, DDD, Ness, and Zelda, and looking at on the other side for Oakland, Wolf, Lucina, Pac-Man, Kazuya, Sephiroth, it's very much like an offline meta up against like the online meta. St. Ambrose definitely has a lot of characters that benefit from the Wi-Fi format. Obviously with delay, it's sometimes harder to avoid projectiles. Zelda, like you mentioned, is an absolute demon on Wi-Fi as well, just because of how hard that character hits. It's hard to deal with Phantom. Ness is a demon offline and online, but again, kind of gets a bit of a buff because of the Wi-Fi meta. So it's gonna be cool to see how they interact. But right now, Oakland, they're showing that the offline meta does reign supreme after that first match.
Definitely. I honestly think out of these, I think I'm gonna say we're probably gonna see Balloon Pants or Big Boy. Byleth, I mean, if you're really not on point, I think Pac-Man can kind of blow up Byleth, because Byleth is kind of slow, right? Like, has the range, but has a lot of cooldown on moves, and if you're, if Pac-Man gets in on you, can combo really quickly, and those items are going to be a nuisance. I think we're going to see the Zelda. Oh, it's actually a Greninja.
We were all wrong.
Okay, so, I'm basing this on a player named Balloon Pants, but this is Balloon Pants, apparently. So, I'm not sure if that's a typo or if that's the player's actual name, and if that's the case, then no idea where this Greninja's coming from, but this is a complete shift now, because this is a character that can run circles around Pac-Man.
Absolutely has the down B counter to get through a lot of the stuff Pac-Man wants to toss, and especially because that counter is very unique, because Greninja gets sent flying as soon as that substitute comes out, so they can definitely use that to get through a lot of the stuff that Pac-Man wants to throw. Has the speed to avoid everything, has the speed to not really get combo too much. Shadow Sneak is a really good tool as well. That side B for getting out of things, and again, that counter, like I mentioned earlier, a very good tool. But I don't think Triscuit cares about any of that. Already has a 17% lead and is dominating the stock right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it has only a slight edge here, but Greninja, another character I think that can have some trouble killing, especially against sort of those weightier characters, but Greninja themselves does not have a lot of weight, so that Bell landing has just been an absolute detriment to the St. Ambrose University squad so far. They have not been able to really figure out how to avoid that, which for Greninja needs to be priority, considering how fast and slippery this character can be. but also you can tell how important that hydrant is in the matchup because that shuts down the linear ground approach that Greninja can have, and of course makes Water Shuriken kind of null and void a lot of the time. So Trisket can sit back behind that and then just calling out the shield, maybe a bit overzealous with the forward smash, but still stacking it up and almost has a full stock lead here now on this Greninja.
And much like Bayonetta, Greninja can take you from 0 to like 90 in the blink of an eye, but does rely on setups to get a KO. Down tilt into forward air, down throw forward air, up throw up air sometimes is also a thing. Almost Trisket almost gets that stock. Whereas Pac-Man doesn't really need to do all of that stuff. You mentioned earlier how Pac-Man is oftentimes a matchup check for people, and Trisket seems to be getting that bell every single time. I don't know if the team over at St. Ambrose plays Pac-Man very often, but yeah, Trisket really seems like whenever they get the bell, they're landing it at least like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, against a character like Pac-Man, you got to be able to use items on your own very effectively, because having Pac-Man's items as Greninja could be absolutely deadly, but if you're not able to get a grasp on that bell, then it could prove dire. But that forward smash will finally land. Trisket goes down to their last stock here, but so far Trisket has done some damage, already has 4 stocks underway, might be able to pick up another one here, and if they can do not only that, but get a 3rd kill and hold on to this last stock, Trisket will already create a massive lead here for this Oakland squad.
And you know what? I want to go back to that KO that Blonde Pants actually just got. That was a really good read after that down throw, but that kind of that alludes to what I talked about earlier. Greninja relies on setups. He had to get a really hard read in order to get that KO, whereas Trisket, all they really need to do is just land bell into forward smash or land bell into back air or anything like that, as we almost see a KO right there. Oh, no way, that's a thing. Okay, jeez. And we almost saw a KO right there. And Trisket just throws the stock away. And just like that, we potentially go from what a 2-3 stock lead potentially for Oakland if Trisket held on to that to now what only a 1 stock lead for Oakland. That's just crazy how much a match can shift like that. And I brought this up last week in the broadcast. I feel like every single match we get, there's one set, or every single set we get, there's one match I feel like that turns the tide for the entire set. And I'm thinking this might have been that match. Only match number 2 here, but that really could have been it, because we go from potentially Oakland going up, like I said, 3 or 4, to now only being up 1. And Trisket being one of their best, if not their best player on the team. Now everyone else kind of has to pick up the slack there. So I'm thinking if St. Ambrose does win this match, it is going to be because of that game right there.
Absolutely could have been, right? I mean, that was like 126, I think, for the Greninja, so Trisket should have at least been able to steal that away. That last interaction was interesting. I love the bell setup, calling out the Greninja, having no invincibility at the ledge pretty much, so it was over 100% and hit that. And I'm pretty sure what happened at the end is they were trying to hug the stage, anticipating their Greninja to go past the ledge in forward air, and they were looking for the tech on stage, which is why they didn't just go right to the trampoline. Of course, it could have also been a misinput, but that's what it looked like to me. So Trisket still did, some damage as the opener, got that first player down, and then, was able to steal away 1 more stock. So like you said, a 1 stock lead for Oakland. Remaining on the roster here for Oakland, we know Werble Nerfer plays Ken. Spectral also has been playing the Lucina last time we saw them. Typhoon has a Sephiroth, and then wasn't on what we saw on the roster, but they always have that Kazuya Poison Gem waiting in the wings. So I'm anticipating potentially this Ken coming out here. I mean, truthfully, I'm not sure which one of these characters might be the strongest to work with. I think Sephiroth might be, need too much precision to deal with Greninja. Might not be the safest pick. Lucina might actually be just a really solid, and that's that last interaction I was talking about. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe just held that stick out a little, too antsy there. But I'm anticipating seeing, I think, Spectral on the Lucina. I think from last time we saw them, Werble Nerfer was playing towards the end of the roster. We saw Oakland last time. And Lucina, a character that does have enough speed to keep with Greninja, has those disjoints, which can be really effective. I don't think it's edgeguarded too hard. So I think we're going to see Spectral on the Lucina here for this one.
I 1000% agree with you. You said earlier, I think Sephiroth is a little bit too precise. Ken, same thing, a little bit less precise than Sephiroth, but you do need to get in. And we are actually seeing the Ken. Okay, so this is going to be. I was wondering how Werble Nerfer is going to approach here, because Water Shuriken is going to be big here for Blonde Pants, and Ken being an FGC character. solid up close, but does sometimes struggle to get in. So if you see what what Balloon Pants is doing right here, just running away using shurikens, and it's going to be hard for Ken to get in, but you know what? Is racking on 43% damage already off of a lot of Hadokens.
I was going to say, Werble doesn't even need to get in, right? Can just start firing off fireballs all the time, and surprisingly, the fire is working against the water here somehow, and is barely taking any damage. But I also love this call, right? Like, using the fireballs and creating distance to try to get Balloon Pants to commit to Water Shuriken, and then using jump-ins to punish that charge on the neutral B. There it is right there. And they might be able to somehow get a kill off of it, but unfortunately slipping there on the controls. But that's what Werble Nervo's game plan is at the moment. Not able to get a follow-up there on the tech on the platform, using the focus attack to try to take care of these low-range options, but still unable to get the call out. Nice, that's the parry.
Yep.
And just barely not enough, but one more will certainly do it here to get Werble this first kill.
I am kind of shocked that didn't KO. That was amazing DI there from Balloon Pants. So like you said, they're definitely not going to survive another one of those, as we see Werble kind of fishing for some back airs here. Back air at the ledge will definitely do it. Ooh, going for the hard read on that shuriken, doesn't get it, but no punish from the side of Werble. What's the option on the ledge right here? All Werble really needs is one hit. There we go. Gets that up tilt and is going to take that stock. And only at 54% as well. So Oakland University looking pretty good here.
Yeah, and great job using those down tilts, spamming them to try to bait out the get-up attack, and then responding in tow. So Werble so far has been playing the conditioning game really well against Balloon Pants here, and I honestly think might be able to get this last stock without losing all three, which again would be massive for Oakland to extend this lead. They are only up by 2, and if they go down, only be up by 1. But now just landing a lot of these stray hits in the air, and Balloon Pants is having trouble landing. Finally gets the shield grab out just in time. 118 now, and this Water Shurikens are going to be enough to put him at 121. Nice focus attack, but the multi-hit in response. Great job by the Greninja. Oh, with the up P! Sharks through the corner, and Werble gets back on stage.
Right now, I think if Werble gets one more good hit, that leads into the Shuriken. That's probably going to be it. Balloon Pants needs to do whatever they can. Oh, I thought that could have been it. That's probably game right there. Yeah, Balloon Pants needed to do whatever they could to take that stock, but unfortunately for them, Werble was just a little bit too much to handle, so we see that Ken pick working out perfectly. Now, on the side of St. Ambrose, again, assuming that we were right on their characters.
So far, we're not.
So far, we're not, yeah.
So far, we're not.
So we might have a DDD come through, might have a Ness, might have a Byleth, I believe, as well. Now, if we're assuming that those are the characters, as we see that beautiful just bread and butter Ken combo to get that KO there for Werble Nerfer. Yeah, between DDD, maybe Byleth, potentially even a Ness, if those are all correct. I do kind of like Byleth. Ken not being the fastest character, Byleth doesn't really have to worry about being too much slower. Obviously, you have that long mid-range game, or almost long-range game. It's like that teetering in between mid-range and long-range. But either way, Ken might struggle to get in. Massive hitboxes that that Byleth has. And Byleth is just one of the most consistent characters in the entire game. It's like every move works exactly how it's supposed to, and we know in Smash Brothers, sometimes moves just tend to not work, and I think that's why Byleth is going to be a really solid pick here, if that's what they do opt to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. This might end up coming down to a player matchup, because if Albie can't, as the Byleth, can't keep Ken out, then Byleth gets blown up, right? And also, Byleth doesn't really have multi-hits outside of Nair to deal with focus attack, so could have an issue there. Arrow is really good against, Ken, obviously, too. So, yeah, I think this might end up going down to maybe not necessarily matchup, but just the player. If Albie's maybe a stronger player with keeping the Ken out, then that's definitely the move. Big Boy, potentially either a King DDD or Ness. I wouldn't want to go DDD into Ken. Ness, I think, does a fine job. Hard character to hit. Dies early, though, and is in that kind of Ken burst range when they want to land forward air or nair. So that's also a potentially polarizing pick and might come down to the player rather than the character matchup. So St. Ambrose in a sticky situation here already, I think, again, this is based on whether these characters are right. If they are, neither of these character options, I think, are guaranteed to really get them out of this hole. Of course, it's not a massive hole. Oakland is only up by a little bit here, but got to remember, Spectral's still waiting in the wings and potentially a Sephiroth. And then if they want to use the Kazuya, that Kazuya could come out in game 2 as well. So got to keep that in the back of their mind. We don't know if St. Ambrose has a deeper bench. And a lot of this game 1 could be about adapting and conditioning and learning about the other team and then following through game 2.
And just looking at the rosters again, like Oakland University's, like every single character, not even like from the player side, every single character is just a really solid character that doesn't struggle to KO. Ken doesn't struggle to KO. Wolf doesn't struggle to KO. Lucina, Pac-Man, Kazuya, Sephiroth, Sephiroth kind of, sort of, but all really consistent characters, whereas we saw the first two characters from St. Ambrose, Bayonetta and Greninja, who again can rack up tons of damage in no amount of time, 0 to 90, 0 to 100 in like 2 interactions, but just struggle to get those KOs. And we actually saw that in those 2 matches. They were not struggling to get damage. Like both Blonde Pants and Blubby were getting as much damage as they needed, but then it just came down to the fact that Trisket got Bell every single time, got a KO. We saw Ken there, Werble Nerfer, got 2 Shoryukens in that match. Consistent KOs, getting hit at like 70. You're basically confirmed to be dead there. So I'm hoping for St. Ambrose's sake, whoever does come out next, it's a more consistent character. Again, if it is Ness again doesn't struggle to really get KOs, has back air, up air, back throw, PK Thunder if they want to go for that too. You have like PK Fire at the forward smash, like a ton of options for Ness, if that is the option. Same with Byleth, does not struggle to get KOs, but we are going to see who it is, and this is going to be. It is going to be Big Boy and the Ness. I do like this pick. You can zone Ken out a little bit. You have the side magnet to deal with Hadoken, so Werble Nerfer can't be throwing them out all willy-nilly. And at the same time, like I said, you have stuff like that. PK Fire is going to be huge, and Ness does not struggle to get KOs at all. So I do like this pick here for St. Ambrose.
That PK Fire is going to be so massive in this matchup because that's a lot of good way. A lot of the time, Big Boy's going to be using that to get these jump-ins in on Ken without having to commit their body to it. Ooh, that is quite the option to go for. Now that Yo-Yo keeping in the corner is able to air dodge out after the jump. Werble Nerfer looking. This is going to be, dire though, because as we slowly but surely work our way up damage-wise, I think the advantage is going to start to go to Werble potentially. But it's landing that's going to be an issue. Ooh, the light hit off the up air to get the confirm and continue into this landing trap. And just like that, Werble, I don't think touched the ground after hitting 60% or so. Now it's up to Werble to try to get one of these initial confirms to get a quick kill on here. Otherwise, Big Boy's going to start to run away with this and get St. Ambrose back into it. That's exactly what Werble needed to keep this lead in their favor.
Got a bit of a weird hit there on the Shoryuken, but hey, it was still just enough to get that KO. And yeah, like you said earlier, there was like a 15 to 20 point period where Werble just did not touch the ground, and that is exactly what you're going to have to do in this matchup if you're Nest. Oh my god. The FGC characters all famously struggle to take landing or to get landings consistently. So, and a character like Ness is really good at keeping people up in the air with up air, with neutral air, with nair, everything like that. So if Big Boy wants to win this, which is looking like they actually just might, oh my god, you're crazy. That's exactly what they need to do, or go for crazy options like PK Thunder.
Yeah, Werble has to be careful jumping to neutral, though. We're talking about this landing coverage. We saw it happen last stock, and Werble kind of committing to jumping in neutral a lot here, burning that double jump to try to get around the platform and running right into that back air of Big Boy. The PK Fire also lands. The forward air is going to whiff, and then Werble gets back on again with that up B that's going to poke in through the corner. Now just establishing control into the platform, but it's a side magnet into these arrows that Big Boy is trying to confirm into a kill. That should be it. No, Werble drops it, gets another chance though.
Watch your stock though. Okay, I thought they were going to fall
to be careful. Yeah, almost, but it doesn't matter. Big Boy gets them right back. And it's 7-4 in stocks for these two teams.
But man, Big Boy nearly needs to step it up right now. You can't afford to trade stocks right now being down 3, your team being down 3. You have to take this. You cannot afford to lose this at all. But you know what? They're looking primed to do it if they could keep this up. Already has them at 51% and is keeping Werble on this right side of the stage. Went for it all right there with the PK Thunder. But let's talk about this PK Thunder real quick. Big Boy is getting so much mileage out of it.
Yeah, really is honestly looking like an FGC character comboing this Ken right now. Werble has to be careful with some of these big swings, though. That's another down smash that you whiff that. I mean, Big Boy so far has been whiff punishing that really hard. Nice up tilt after the cross up. The PK Thunder forcing him into the ledge. And looks like Werble just trying to poke in through this platform, but unfortunately hanging around the platform for too long sets up Big Boy to shark in with these up airs. Gets the shield grab. I don't think that's going to kill. No, it does. Wow, we did get the sparks, but I thought the DI would be there. Werble goes down, and that will be now just 2 players left for Oakland. And just a few stocks and some change, and 1 player left here for St. Ambrose.
Yeah, the DI on that last one, even though I did say that should kill, it really looked like it shouldn't have. I feel like the DI there was a little bit suspect. You saw Werble just kind of drift lazily into the blast zone a bit. Maybe they were DIing
air
out.
Dodge, I'm thinking.
Or something like that.
They air dodged, yeah.
So
if they air dodge. No, I didn't see an air dodge. Interesting. Okay.
Just a straight up KO. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna really go. I mean, that was like very, very like if like very end of that killing essentially. Like so. Either way, Werble never does go down, taking a bunch of stocks with him. So definitely a solid run for them. But Oakland is definitely not, you know, with a massive lead here. St. Ambrose certainly not out of it just yet. Big Boy doing some good work to stop the bleeding just a little bit here against the 5-2 in the regular season Oakland University, who now has Spectral and Typhoon waiting in the wings. Of course, if they decide to put in Poison Jam, they can, but at the moment, we don't anticipate that. So we'll see. I mean, St. Ambrose, I'm considering now, okay, well, Albi Fresh is probably their last player, which means they probably have the Byleth as an anchor here. And I think Byleth does pretty solid against the remaining characters on this Oakland squad. So, I mean, it could come down to that. Could come down to this anchor for St. Ambrose taking it for them.
And just looking at the roster again, Spectral with Lucina, you have Typhoon with Sephiroth. I think both of them could do decently up against Ness here. I kind of lean towards going Lucina, just for the consistency that Sephiroth sometimes struggles with. And you brought up a good point about Byleth. Byleth does do decently well against both of them. Can't really deal with Lucina's speed, but can keep Lucina out. And in terms of against Sephiroth, they both kind of have a similar range, but Byleth just has so much more KO power than Sephiroth does. So I think if it is Byleth, the last character for St. Ambrose there, that's really good. Anyways, they are going with Spectral. They are going with Lucina. Again, like I said, I like this pick. Lucina just one of the most consistent characters in the game. Ness sometimes struggles with disjoints as well. A really exploitable recovery that Lucina can just forward air you once and basically get a free stock whenever you got a PK Thunder. So I do like this pick here.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
that's gonna go unpunished, but I respect it. I respect the 0% up B there. But yeah, you're right. I think these disjoints are going to be the big key. And then Lucina has that speed, but has to be careful against these PK Fires. You know Lucina's going to be looking for the landing nairs, for the fast fall forward airs. And that PK Fire gets right in the middle of that. So Big Boy can do some damage, but needs to do some solid work against Spectral, because this is just enough of a lead for Oakland to trade their way into a victory here by having that 2 lead advantage, or 2 stock advantage rather. And Spectral so far is checking Big Boy, just playing some really solid neutral. The Bundies are there, and so is the forward smash. That's a kill. And now an entire player lead here for Oakland. It's 6-3 in stocks.
That forward smash caught me off guard. That was complete domination from start to finish from Spectral, and you saw why Ness can struggle in that matchup. Ness, as good as that character is, doesn't have the greatest range with their aerials, doesn't have the greatest frame data as well, and Lucina just completely took advantage of it. Lucina just one of the most well-rounded characters in this entire game, and when you have a sword as good as hers, a lot of smaller characters are going to struggle. You saw Ness really couldn't land there. As soon as Spectral got 1 hit, it feels like they got 5 more after that, and it really just didn't feel like Big Boy was in that match at all. You saw a couple of flashes here and there, but for the most part, that was all Spectral all day. And now for St. Ambrose, down to their last player, which will be Albi Fresh, who we both anticipate will be a Byleth. Mentioned the matchup earlier. Byleth does do decently well against Lucina and Sephiroth, but they have to take out both of them. So I not jealous of Albi's position here. I think right now, unless they absolutely snap, I think it's relatively safe to say that Oakland's probably going to walk away with this game 1. But yeah, you know what? I want to see who Albi ends up using if it is Byleth.
Yeah, it might not be Byleth. This is what we're anticipating. I mean, Spectral played really well there. Spectral, the Lucina has that speed to like weave in and out against Ness, right? And just kind of bait out options and whiff punish. That's one of Lucina's strong points in the game, and strong suits is whiff punishing. So we're able to do a really solid job there. Got the tech roll read on the platform, just solid game sense, and then converted that, just barely staying outside of the range of that Ness back air and catching him hard. So yeah, Byleth, this is going to be difficult because obviously Lucina has good disjoints, but doesn't have crazy range in terms of like a sortie, like isn't a Sephiroth, isn't even a Cloud or anything like that. Has the speed though, but Byleth can rack up damage really quick and can kill and as a projectile. So that might really be the key here, where Lucina might be, forced to jump a lot, and then Byleth kind of causes some landing situation they can use to put out some big hitboxes and get some early kills. And it does seem we are going to be getting that Byleth from Albi fresh. They need to take 6 stocks. They only have 3 stocks to do it, and so far they are already getting battered away here by this Lucina, who's taking 60% to kick things off.
And this is looking really similar to that first match against the Nest there for Spectral. Byleth does kind of struggle in the same way with landing sometimes. Frame data not the best, does make up for that by having good range. But if Lucina can get a good... Ooh, you're brave.
Wow.
If Lucina can get a few juggles in, it's really going to be hard for Albi to get anything going. Like we saw right there, getting trapped at this ledge. Does manage to make it out with I believe that was a Nair, but has been on the back foot this entire time.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I do like the attempt there for Albi to go deep for Spectral to go deep for that KO there, but you know what? Albi was ready and waiting. Keeping this relatively close. I like the Dolphin Slash up to the top ledge. Not much Albi can do about that. And even though they are at 78%, it really doesn't feel like Albi's gotten like much going for them.
No, absolutely not. And you pointed out Spectral having to go deep for that. That's a big part of this matchup is not missing any kill opportunities off stage. Because that's one of Violet's struggle points, is being off stage. But also, you can see how when on stage, Albi is able to play that range game, and then the second Lucina gets in, has Nair to work with, right? So Lucina's not super safe once they do get into close range. But these platforms are going to be an issue. Like, sure, Violet can get over to those platforms and have a little bit of safety, but Lucina can shark right through. That up air, though, will kill and keep things 2-2, but Oakland can trade all day. They're up 3 stocks, so even if this goes down to the wire for these 2 players, that means it's going to be a huge amount of work for Albi to do to take out the next player that's following Spectral. So really, Albi can't afford to drop this next stock. If they do, this might be an Oakland victory.
And honestly, with the way Spectral is playing, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be kind of shocked if Albi even makes it out of this match with both of these stocks. They might make it out with just one, but yeah, like you said, they can't afford to trade. Oakland will trade all day. Albi has to go absolutely off from now going forward if they want a chance to win this. I do like going for that spike attempt. That's exactly what you need in a situation like this. Ended up missing, but when you're down this much, you kind of just have to go for that for the kind of home run KOs. We can see on the ledge here. Oh, you're on the ledge too long. Okay, good roll on. He hung on the ledge a little bit too long. I thought Spectral was going to manage to get a forward smash there. Oh, this is... Okay, Albi likes to play on that ledge a little bit too much and has been getting away with it so far. And there's the forward air for Spectral to get the KO. Like you said, you cannot afford to waste any KO opportunities up against Byleth, especially off stage, because they struggle to get back. Not the greatest recovery, very exploitable like we saw right there, and Spectral now has Oakland 1 stock away from taking this game 1 in the LCQ.
And remember, this is LCQ. You lose once in a series, you're out. This is a single elimination bracket, so St. Ambrose has to be keeping that in the back of their head as they go into this game 2. Oakland in a position to knock them out of competition here in the fall season completely. So they might be thinking here, okay, like, do we change up our lineup? Do we change up our characters? We might have to, because Spectral is about to take this last stock. No punish comes in. Lucina doesn't have the punish to whip, but look at that. Gets the Nair 1 into the forward smash, and just like that, Oakland takes game 1 here, 5-0, and is now up in the series 1-0 in our first round, the round of 12 here in the LCQ.
And that was just a solid showing from Oakland. Everyone did exactly what they needed to do. There was no real like weak link. Trisket came in, took out 4 or 5 stocks. Verbal came out, took out 4, and then Spectral came out, did exactly what they needed to do to clean it up. And at no point, maybe after the second match, I thought Ambrose was maybe kind of in it, but Verbal Nerfer came in, gave him a lead, and they never looked back. But we will have a game 2 coming up for everybody right after this break, so please stay tuned to the LCQ here at Nate Star League 2022.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Smash Ultimate Cruise Last Chance Qualifier as we get through our first match of the night. It is Oakland University versus St. Ambrose, and so far, Oakland is up 1-0 after a not entirely definitive, but certainly a convincing win in our first game with a pretty solid lead. Mies, I mean, going into this game 2, St. Ambrose, they definitely have to make some changes. What do you think?
I think they just lost based on matchups, like just ignoring the player-to-player, matchups, just character-to-character matchups. Ness struggles against swords. They could not do anything against Lucina. Greninja couldn't do anything really against Ken, and even if they did do something against Ken, you still had Pac-Man and Lucina to deal with that as well. Byleth couldn't deal with the speed of Lucina, and not to mention they still have a Kazuya. They still have a Kazuya that they could potentially throw out as well. And just looking on, I mentioned this earlier, like St. Ambrose has two characters in Bayonetta and Greninja who just struggle to consistently get KOs. Byleth and Ness are a bit different. They can get KOs really at anytime they want, it seems. But when you have Bayonetta and Greninja, again, this is no fault on the players, just the characters. In a crew battle where stocks are just so important, you need to be able to take out stocks as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And I really think the weak links here on St. Ambrose were the Bayonetta and the Greninja, because they rely so much on setups to get KOs. Whereas you look on the side of Michigan, they just need to touch you and you could just die. It feels like any percent. Obviously, Ken really needs to get like a 1-2 hit combo into Shoryuken to get you. Lucina has backer that'll kill you, has first hit nair into forward smash that'll kill you, which is a pretty easy combo to land. Pac-Man and Trisket was able to get Bell whenever they wanted, it seemed like, and just got free forward smashes. Again, we didn't even see Poison Jam or Typhoon. Kazuya, don't even have to talk about how good that character is at taking stocks. Now Sephiroth, not as consistent as everybody else. It does struggle sometimes, but in terms of the inconsistent character tier list, I think Sephiroth isn't as inconsistent as a lot of other characters. So just looking at the roster of Oakland, I think that was the big difference. They were able to take stocks when they needed to, where St. Ambrose would get a lot of damage, but was just unable to finish the job.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think this is what we kind of saw against Siena Heights when Oakland played them in week 4, is that Trisket gets a bunch of these kills, and here are the rosters once again for you. Trisket gets a bunch of these stocks, and then Oakland just kind of trades out the rest of the game, and is able to do so because they have these matchup counter picks they can work with, right? So they just have a really solid character spread, and they're able to use that to their advantage against teams that seem to get kind of backed into corners character-wise. Again, Warblenever doing really solid on the Ken, and Trisket on this Pac-Man have been really solid assets for this team. And then, of course, Spectral on the Lucina, and we haven't even seen Typhoon just yet. So, I mean, potentially we might be seeing a character, start change for St. Ambrose, which I think might be the move. Bluey definitely had struggled a little bit on that Bayonetta to start things out, and leaving them with, characters that are good, but you really need to be on point with winning those matchups. Unfortunately, we didn't really see that, but Big Boy did a really solid job on that Ness. Just like you said, kind of, essentially lost the matchup because Ness just struggles against sorties, and Lucina was a really solid pick against that, and then Spectral just kind of ran wild from there. So I believe we will be seeing Trisket versus Big Boy to kick things off, and that could be a double-edged sword for St. Ambrose. Number one, if it works out well for them, right, they take out Trisket early, and Big Boy can kind of do what Trisket did against them last time, which was create that lead. The problem is that you might be putting in potentially your best player first, and if you lose that player early, then Oakland might win by even a larger margin in this game too. So we'll see how it goes.
It is definitely a risk, but it's a risk they had to take. I really think leading off with Bayonetta, getting a character who struggles really to take stocks consistently, wasn't the best move. I really think starting off with any character that can't really take stocks consistently typically isn't great, because you need to set the tone very, very early. Even if you lose the match, you want to take out at least one, or if not two, ideally two if you're going to end up losing the match. And Bayonetta against Pac-Man, Pac-Man's going to out KO you 9 times out of 10, especially if you keep getting hit by Bell, with Trisket was absolutely running wild with in that first game. But yeah, we are going to be seeing Big Boy the Ness up against Pac-Man. Man, it's tough, because just looking at St. Ambrose and all those matches, it really felt like Big Boy was probably their best player. We didn't get to see too much of Blubby. Ballon Pants was okay, and I'll Be Fresh again didn't get to see too much of them, but they were okay. And the little bit that they did play, definitely seems like Big Boy's their best player. But if they do lose Big Boy early, I don't want to say that's it, but Oakland is just their roster is just so consistent. Everybody, I feel like, is capable of taking out 5 stocks. We saw each of them take out, I think, at least 4, which is really impressive. And everyone is there's no weak link. Everyone's capable of doing exactly what they need to do. And just watching that one match of St. Ambrose, I don't get that same vibe from them.
No, I think St. Ambrose definitely kind of struggling and having the player consistently across the board. I think Big Boy coming in here, it could be dangerous, because Big Boy is a solid enough player to get the lead in, but Oakland could just throw Spectral in, right, and nullify that Nest with the Lucina. So that's tough. That really is tough. And do you save then Big Boy for later? But it's kind of one of those things where you almost want to save a player until their counter has already been played. But the problem is that Trisket and Warblenever can already do so much damage on their own that Lucina and Spectral is going to be played later. And it looks like we are finally going to be jumping into our first matchup of Game 2 here. And it looks like, if we are not mistaken, it will be Trisket versus Big Boy indeed on Final Destination.
Oh boy!
Here, I don't know. What do you think that's gonna be for these two players?
If I'm either of these people, I don't want to take either of my. I don't want to take my opponent to FD. If I'm Pac-Man, I don't want to take Ness here. If I'm Ness, I don't want to take Pac-Man here. They can both run wild. You don't have anywhere to go to dodge projectiles. You have to just jump. You have no platforms, obviously. Both of them could absolutely run wild. Ness can carry you halfway across the stage, which I thought we might actually see it there. And again, in terms of Pac-Man, you have nowhere to go to dodge all the projectiles. Very volatile, can work out for both of them, but can also come back to bite both of them in the butt.
I think you're absolutely right here. Both of these characters can combo each other at low to mid percents. PK Fire is not going to have any platforms in the way for it, but neither will Pac-Man's items. It works and hurts both of these players. It will kind of come down to the matchup or to the players themselves to really make the most of this. But that little extra range that Pac-Man might have here in these items might make all the difference. If those PK fires, though, keep landing, then that's going to certainly turn things around. And Big Boy has done exactly that. Has almost even things up. The Yo-Yo almost catches Trisket just in time. And now Trisket, for the first time, find themselves in a position where they do get that kill, but they're not definitively establishing a lead here for Oakland right out of the gate.
And this is where that risk you talked about comes in. Big Boy obviously doing, even though they're down, doing really well against Trisket, who took off like 4 or 5 stocks last time. But if Big Boy does go down here, who's the counter for Trisket? Because we saw Trisket run through like 2, almost to 3 players last time. If Big Boy goes down here, I don't see a way that Ambrose really wins this. So Big Boy needs to do whatever they can to take this stock, but is struggling to do it. Does have them at 174%. One grab is going to take the stock, and I'm sure Trisket knows that as well, opting to just run away, play a really, oh my god, no way. If that ever landed, I would have lost my mind. But Trisket opting to just run away and play very campy. Obviously knowing that if Big Boy gets a grab, that's going to be it, and just like that, Trisket with a 2-stock lead. Even if they do lose this stock, which they might, they're going to be going into the next game up, and you really don't want to be going into a match down against Oakland University.
And I think Trisket might have heard me talking about that. That second stock was almost deleted as quickly as I had made that call out, and then I love the call out. Yeah, Big Boy finally does get on the board. I love the call out with the bell to take care of a Ness that's, poking around with the PK fire. It's in the perfect position. And again, because Ness is jumping into that angle, that bell just works perfectly. Ness is not going to be taking a grounded approach against you. So that bell comes out at the perfect angle to deal with it. Oh, looking for the roll in. And nice. That's going to take a solid whip punish here.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
That should be
still
punish.
49%. Oh, the punish comes in too late. Big Boy gets another lease on life here. There comes the orange, gets dropped. Can this be the kill? It should be here. And indeed it is. Trisket gets that first pickup here. Only drops 1 stock. Big Boy drops 3, and Oakland now starting things out with a 2-stock lead.
It really looked early on like Big Boy had a chance. But I think as soon as Trisket got a bit of momentum, they got warm. We saw exactly what we've seen from Trisket all season long. Someone who I don't think on broadcast at least has taken out at least 4 stocks, I think, every time we've seen him, if not more. I think we've seen him take like 7 or 8 at one point in time. Definitely a player capable of almost wiping the entire team by themselves. And Big Boy really was St. Ambrose's best hope, I think. Again, that's just based off the one match that we've seen. Doesn't really seem like they're going to have an answer for Trisket here. Like, we saw what they did to Bayonetta. Wasn't really a close match. Saw what they did to Greninja, ended up losing, but things still took off like, a few stocks there. Man, St. Ambrose, I don't know where they go from here, unless they have a surprise 5th player that they can go. Maybe they try Albie against Trisket. We didn't get to see that matchup. But man, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Trisket take out another 2, another 3 here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised as well. I mean, Trisket getting away with losing only a single stock, that definitely puts him in a great position, because now really where does St. Ambrose go, right? I think we might end up seeing, I don't know, because if they put an Albie Fresh as their Byleth, that's really a dangerous place to be in if they lose that Byleth early. Balloon Pants struggled a little bit on the Greninja against his Pac-Man, and Blubby already again also struggled against Trisket. So Trisket has played already 2 of the 3 players and beat them that are remaining on the St. Ambrose squad. So you might think, okay, maybe we do put Albie in here to get that Byleth out, but Albie's probably their strongest player remaining on the roster. So this is definitely a hard situation. Yeah, like you said, Trisket is a player that takes out entire teams, if not a majority of them. And we can be seeing that yet again here in this last chance qualifier.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Whoever goes in against Trisket is going to have quite a bit of work to do. We are going to see.
I think we see the Greninja. I'm guessing.
Okay, I don't disagree. And
it is the
getting
Byleth. Wow.
Okay, this is a very large risk here, because if Albie does go out here, then you're left again, assuming that Blubby and Balloon Pants don't have any secondaries. You're left with Bayonetta and Greninja, 2 characters who, again, repeating myself, can't really take KOs consistently. They rely really heavily on setups versus, Byleth, who can just kind of hit you raw and get a KO. This is a very huge risk, where on the opposite side you have Oakland, where all 5 of the potential characters we might see just don't struggle to kill at all. So this is a very huge risk here for St. Ambrose, and so far it has not been working out.
This a hard start here for a character like Byleth that, with that, the lacking of that speed and having trouble landing at times, unless you get that nair in, Triscuit's going to start to run away with this and is landing so many of these hits. Just one of the wow. Getting a little bit of that citrus, needs that vitamin C maybe somewhere else, but it's going to put him to the blast zone. Triscuit is one of the strongest players that we've seen here in Naystar League throughout this season, and is once again proving just that.
Honestly, if I made a list of I think the top 15 players we've seen, I think Triscuit has a chance to crack that top 10. One of the best, if not the best Pac-Man that we've seen.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely top 2, top 3 Pac-Man that we've seen. We've seen a lot of Pac-Man, so that's a really big deal. So definitely, if I had to make a list, definitely in that top 10 to 15 range here, and showcasing why. Again, this pick from St. Ambrose, I really feel like no matter who you went, whether it was Blubby, Albie, or Balloon Pants, you were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Either you're going 2 characters who can't get KOs, or you're throwing in your 1 character that can, at the risk of them getting bodied, which is kind of what's happening here. I wouldn't be shocked if Triscuit actually gets out of this with both of these stocks, unless... Okay, no, that could have been something right... No, okay, that could have been something right there for Albie. I feel like they should have maybe swung for the fences a little bit, just trying to take this stock. But as I was saying, I wouldn't be shocked if we do see Triscuit get out of this with both of these stocks left. Okay.
Oh, swinging for the fences there, and I don't blame them. They need to get rid of this Pac-Man as soon as possible. Triscuit now looking to lap in stocks on these players here. Oh, wow. All right, wow. Gets sniped, so a big win there for Albie, but is it going to be enough to keep St. Ambrose in this? The bell lands, rolls in instead of going for maybe the dash attack, which might not have killed, but at least would have been a confirm nonetheless. The key comes in and activates the Hydrant, who also finds the Byleth, and a nice... Gets the frame trap there, and then air... Wow.
Triscuit, how? Triscuit,
again, Triscuit losing their stock early, and a buffered air dodge, I would have to imagine, in that situation, after going super deep to try to steal away that second stock from the Byleth. That's twice in a row now that Triscuit has died a bit earlier than we would have expected or anticipated. I think we're going to potentially see that again. Never mind. We're going to see that arena, but yeah, that is an unfortunate run there for Triscuit's last stock. And keep St. Ambrose a bit more in the game here.
That is exactly what St. Ambrose needed. I don't know if they're a Catholic school, but they gotta be thinking God after that one, because that is exactly what they needed. Triscuit was running wild. This should have been a stock. That should have been a stock. I think they air dodged and just didn't have enough time to get that jump or that up B out. Well, that really should have been a stock, either like a neutral air, forward air, or something coming through from Triscuit. But again, that air dodge just kind of messing them up there. And for the second game in a row, like you said, Triscuit losing a stock to, on their own without really any opponent interference. And Byleth, Albie coming out of that barely alive, almost lost another stock. But I go back to the points I made previously. Oakland, one of those teams where no matter who they send in, it's like there's no weak link. So even if they go Spectral here, even if they go Werble Nerfer, which I don't think they'll go Werble Nerfer, I think Spectral probably might be your best bet. Or even in Typhoon, who we haven't seen yet, and they still have Kazuya, they still have Poison Jam Kazuya. No matter who you go, it's like they just run wild on these matchups. So I think Oakland, despite losing that stock, like we saw in the first match, didn't really seem to matter. No matter who they go in next, I think they're in a really good spot here.
I definitely agree. And against this Byleth, I think you probably end up seeing Spectral.
Yeah.
Just because now that Big Boy is kind of out of the picture, I guess you don't need to keep Spectral waiting in the wings, right? Like you can kind of let Spectral loose whenever here. Werble Nerfer might come in. I think Werble it might not be worth the stocks that Ken might lose against Byleth, who can just outrange and arrow against fireballs. But again, a character that might have... Well, both characters kind of have trouble landing against one another here.
Yeah. And
can't necessarily super edgeguard. That Nair from Byleth can be devastating against Ken, though, and shreds through that focus attack. So, but that's the only multi-hit they have. I still think we're going to see Spectral come in on the Lucina, a character and player that was able to do really solid work in the second half of that first game against St. Ambrose. And so that's my anticipation here. I'm going to see that Lucina.
I think that's definitely the best option here. Even, let's see before I say something. And they're actually sending
Poison
in Poison
Jam.
Jam,
Okay.
the Kazuya Mishima, my favorite character
There
to
we
watch.
go.
I know people hate Kazuya. I love Kazuya. I love characters that just touch you and just eviscerate your stuff. Okay, maybe I'm in the minority. I love this character so much, man. It's so cool. As we see,
that's. I mean, you can think that, bro. That's all I can say.
oh man, but you know, Kazuya, a lot of people will say that this character is what a few people say top 1, top 2, but at least top 5 minimum, can take a stock from you at any percentage, whether you're at 0, whether you're at 100, no matter whether you're at 20, 30, 40, whatever. You are never safe up against a Kazuya Mishima, but right now, Albi playing this to perfection. This might be a stock right here. Oh no. Making it back, but they do have that rage. Why is this character's recovery so good? Like this character has everything,
and really good recovery, and like is heavy. Like sure, Kazuya is a bit tall, but like it's such a heavy character for being just a dude. I mean, I guess someone might balk at Kazuya being called just a guy, but all right, there we go. So. Yeah, I mean, this matchup, you really never want to be playing short range, of course, against the Kazuya. Like, you want to just use those aerials, keep them in a landing situation as often as you can. The problem is that it's really risky to go for grabs, and it's really risky to be playing in short range for obvious reasons. And so far, Albi is willing to go for these landing nairs, which are actually kind of 50-50 them into situations where electric can start to land. So has to be careful. Poison Jam just needs to clean up one more stock here, which, as you said, Kazuya can do very quickly to keep this lead at 2 stocks for Oakland.
But don't look now, but Albi's actually one good hit away from tying this up for St. Ambrose. And if they manage to take both these stocks, that'll be the first lead that St. Ambrose has had this entire set. The Kazuya pick definitely not working out up until this point. We haven't really seen Poison Jam able to get any of the, bread and butter long combo strings that we're used to Kazuya seeing. We've seen them land a few electrics, but haven't really been able to follow up out of it. And Albi has been, staying alive a lot longer than a lot of Kazuya's opponents are typically alive for. Like right there, that potentially could have been a KO if that Nair actually got a spike. But for Albi, just barely making it out of it. And if I'm Albi, never mind. I was gonna say, if I'm Albi,
if you're Albi, you're gonna trade and die. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Whatever I can to take that stock. Unfortunately for them, Poison Jam getting out of that with 2 stocks I still think they had. So now St. Ambrose, you got Bayo, you got Greninja. That's it. Characters who, again, I'll repeat myself for the 90th time, struggle to get KOs up against Kazuya, where even if they're dropping combos, they're still doing like 30 damage to you per interaction, if not like 40 or more, as we're going to see that final trade rate or that final stock right here. I think that was like an up smash with the... Let's see, the laser right there. I think it looks like an up smash with the... Okay, yeah, it was the uppercut with something out there from Byleth. Either way, Byleth losing that trade. So yeah, Bayonetta, Greninja left. I lean towards Bayonetta. Obviously, FGC characters, all of them struggle to land. Kazuya is no different. Bayonetta is very good at keeping people up in the air and pushing them horizontally. I think that's likely what we will see here. I don't think Greninja is really the wave unless you want to run away and camp with Water Shuriken, which I guess is definitely an option. But between Blubby and Balan Pants, I definitely lean towards going Bayo and Blubby here.
I think you're right. I mean, if I'm thinking about this, I'm like, okay, well, first of all, Greninja's light. Don't want to be dying too early to stuff. Bayonetta can use like Heal Slide, which I'm pretty sure low profile is electric, so maybe you might be able to get it out of that. But you're gonna be careful. You got to be careful using like ABK, diagonally down up against Kazuya, because they're just gonna eat you alive for that. Can certainly combo Kazuya because they're that heavy and they're tall, right? Bayo loves heavy and tall, just tall in general. Just allows us hitbox to hit much more consistently. Greninja low profiles a lot of the time, so Kazuya might also have an issue with that, but. A light character, I don't know, Water Shuriken might also be a really solid option against Kazuya. Like, you just play that camping game and just neutral B all the time and avoid the lasers naturally by being that low profile character. I don't think either one is really a bad spot to go in. I think player wise, they might want to just use Balloon Pants to get rid of this Kazuya as fast as possible. But then you leave Bluebee back on the Bayonetta. Generally in a crew battle, you want to have a character that can get consistent kills as your anchor, right? If you have a character that struggles to kill as your anchor, you're gonna have time struggling to win, right? So Greninja might be able to get those. I think both of these characters can combo Kazuya pretty well, even though Bayo can do it a bit more than Greninja. Greninja might be able to find the kill sooner. I think we might see Balloon Pants come in here as the Greninja to kind of clean up this Kazuya as soon as possible. But no, you're right. I've been whiffing on these calls out here, Mies.
I
So
transferred
coming up.
I transferred my bad guessing ability over to you, and this has nothing to do with anything. I just gotta mention, y'all know Bayonetta's 8 feet and Kazuya is only 5'11". I had to mention that. That is crazy to me. Like, this 5'11", man, he ain't even 6 feet tall doing this to people. That's insanity. Anyways, I just had to bring that up. But right now we're seeing Poison Jam off to a hot start, 71%, and doesn't even need to get a KO move to secure that stock, as we see Blubby just not able to get back on stage. Only 22% right now on Poison, but I don't like that Blubby actually went back to stage there. They had Poison Jam horizontally on that left side, and they feel like they should have kept that pressure up and kept pushing them back. Opted to go back to stage, took a little bit of damage for it, but you know what, is still holding on to a slight percentage lead. And I think this is where you need to do it. Right there, that's where you need to put in as much work as you can if you're Blubby. Again, Bayonetta are great at juggling people. Kazuya,
Wow.
no way that KO'd. What the hell? Wait, you know what? Forget everything I just said. Forget matchups. Forget everything I just said. Kazuya does not care. Kazuya doesn't care. They just punch you once and your stock is gone. Jesus Christ. That wasn't even like the sweet spot of it.
Yeah, Blubby really having some trouble here getting in, and then just the raw dash in gets caught out again by the electric poison, just letting it rip over and over. And why not? If it's working, just keep using the same option. Now they have Rage Drive active, ready to go, and just kicks Blubby to the dirt. Nice shield on the heel slide, but gets caught out by the aerial ABK there. See how they get back. Oh no! Gets the grab. No way! That kills. Oh my god! I would return the game. I would trade it in. I would literally trade in the game. That was rough. So now St. Ambrose, 3 stocks left, Mies.
That's 66%.
I know. That was.
What kind of goofy?
I would head out to GameStop and I would trade in my,
take
my
it back,
game
bro.
and my Switch.
Take
That's
it
what
back,
you
Blake.
like to watch, bro?
Hey, look.
That's what you like? You
I
like
love it.
this?
I love
Let's
it,
go
man.
back. 66%. Okay, that's where we're at right now.
66. Oh my god.
To be fair, has Rage Drive, but
And that
dies
was
at
a
84.
no doubter. That was a no doubter. Oh, yo, I love it. I love it. I love it. Give it to me. But honestly, like you said, if I'm Blubby, man, I think I just returned the game. Called Nintendo, asked for my
Actually,
how much was the season pass? Like $30?
Actually, I don't think you return the game. You put a little money down and you get a Kazi of your own. I think that's what you have, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Pay to win. That's, you know, Bayo's not pay to win anymore.
Oh man, a great man once said, for $5.99 you can be like me, and I think that is definitely the case. But no, in all seriousness, again, that's Kazuya. That's the power of Kazuya. That's why so many people think this character is in that, or I would say definitively at this point, most people would agree that this character is in that top 5. Some people say as high as 1, some people say as low as 5, but definitely in that range. And that is exactly why a 66% KO, like no doubt, you could not DI that type of KO, absolutely exploding off the stage. Kazuya, this is why this character is such a good character in crew battles as well. I think one of the better crew battle characters too. I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen that many Kazuyas during the regular season and coming into this LCQ here because of just how good this character is. But yeah, showing off right there, and I don't even have words. I don't have words, man.
I don't either, man. I mean, I honestly almost feel like you got to play against Kazuya like you're playing against like Ice Climbers and Brawl, right? Or even like Wobbling's on a melee. Like you just assume that you can't get touched, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get touched, you die. So how do you like change your game plan? Like you just have to camp them out and just like literally don't engage ever. The problem, unlike Brawl Ice Climbers, is that Kazuya does have ways to get in on their own, has a projectile, has a better, you know, like a recovery that can, I mean, Ice Climbers is a pretty decent recovery, but I mean, Kazuya recovery is also crazy and is heavy. So like it just makes that margin of error you have so ridiculously finite. And now we are jumping into it. Our very last player here for St. Ambrose University. It is Blonde Pants coming in here with the Zelda. Okay, so it is the Zelda that I thought they had. So the Zelda does come out, and if there's a character that can potentially body Kazuya here, I do think Zelda has a potential to be that. Does have decent range on aerials, has projectiles that can just play this camp aim, but it's that Phantom Knight that's going to be an issue for Kazuya to get in. How do they get... Oh, but still find himself in the corners. Blue Pants has to work their way out, has to be careful with these neutral Bs and up Bs because Poison Jam is going to punish those all day.
And, Blue Pants is actually lucky they didn't get punished. Oh, my God. Punished for that up B right there. That could be something right... Okay,
I think they're alive, yeah.
Yeah, weird interaction right there, but we saw Bloom Pants going for a couple of, errant up Bs. Lucky for them, they didn't get punished. But right here, this Din's Fighter, that's what you need to do against Kazuya. Push them horizontally, fall back, and just go for the Din's Fire. But we do see that up B from Poison Jam taking that stock, and now St. Ambrose is now only 2 stocks away from falling here and being eliminated from the fall 2022 season. And my goodness, Poison Jam going for it all right there with that uppercut. Again, here that Din's Fire from Balloon Pants does get the Phantom. Poison Jam hanging on a little bit too long to that platform. That's just what they needed. Man.
Ooh, the parry comes out. Not going to be enough. Oh, that just pokes right through. The shield was low, and Balloon Pants just gets decimated, literally deleted, and now they're on their last stock. They need to get this done now, but I mean, 7 stocks to 1. Oakland, as I believe, punched their ticket to the next round, the round of, I guess the round of 8 would be essentially for the LCQ.
Yeah.
I guess they would be jumping into the second last chance qualifier essentially. And St. Ambrose, this might be it. This might be the end of their fall 2022 run unless Blue Pants can have the match of their life. Their match is slowly being whittled away right here now, and so is their life.
And you know what? Yeah, you know what? St. Ambrose, like I said, looking like they're gonna be going down here. Don't want to count them out just yet. Don't want to speak too soon. But yeah, right now, Oakland University showing why they made it this far into the tournament, showcasing why they're one of the most solid teams in the entire tournament as Blue Pants survives for at least one more match, but they still have 6 stocks to take from either. Who do they got left? You got Spectral left, and I think they have Verbal Nerfer left. Also have Typhoon with the Sephiroth too. Lucina or Ken or Sephiroth up against Zelda with 1 stock.
Can't go wrong.
Big yikes.
Can't go wrong, I think. Yeah, this is going to be... It's going to have to be a play of the century here for St. Ambrose. Is it doable? Absolutely. We've seen players take out entire teams without barely losing a stock, taking out a bunch of players, only losing 1, if that. But there's literally nothing left here for St. Ambrose. It's 1 stock. You can't mess up whatsoever. And Zelda can be a solid character, but if you deal with that Phantom Knight, you can get in. Zelda's not super oppressive, can also be kind of telegraphed in what they're looking for in neutral, right? So that's, Ken loves that because Ken whiff punishes hard. Lucina loves that. Lucina whiff punishes hard. Sephiroth can play the range game against Zelda and can really make it difficult for Zelda to set up Phantom Knight. So it's going to be difficult. This is going to have to be Blue Pants' best play here on this Zelda to keep St. Ambrose alive. This is literally their last stock of the season if they do not get this victory.
And yeah, they need to pull everything out that they potentially have here, as we're going to see that last stock getting 2 lasers in a row. A third one I think here gets reflected. Getting a little bit greedy. A Poison Jam here is, and I think what was the KO move? Was it like it was a weird hit there. I do remember. Another laser right there. It was forward tilt. Okay, yeah. It was forward tilt with some bad DI there from Poison Jam.
I think Poison Jam was just kind of holding out already. And got caught by the forward tilt. Is what it is. And did more than enough work on the Kazuya. I think took 4 or 5 stocks there. So hats off to them following through on Triscuit's great Pac-Man play here. And now it's going to be up to likely Verbal Nerfer or Spectral. I think I'm gonna go with Spectral on the Lucina. Spectral just playing really, really well. And I think they don't want to... I mean, obviously, I think Oakland thinks they have this in the bag, but let's just be safe and bring this out. Ken might have some trouble getting it on Zelda, but Ken's also a character that can delete stocks quickly, and you only have 1 stock to get rid of. It really, I think, doesn't matter who they put in at this point because they have such a massive lead. They have 3 players left. They have 2 players left. Sorry. They have 6 stocks to go. it's you really almost can't throw this almost essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like this is almost
I would hope
impossible to
not.
lose, really.
That would be like a legendary throw if Oakland somehow manages to goof this. Again, I don't want to bring out the coffins for St. Ambrose just yet because you know what? There's always a chance. So I don't want to say anything too early as we are actually getting the Whirlpool nerfer Wolf. I actually was going to bring up earlier that they do also play this character. We did see it not last set, but the last time we did see Whirlpool and Oakland on broadcast. I think of all the characters that they have, Wolf might be the best. You don't really have to care about fandom because of Reflector. You have the speed to get in, you have the juicy hitboxes to get in, you have the KO power. Once Zelda's at like 70, 75 or so percent, we're probably going to see a lot of down smashes from Whirlpool Nerfer coming through, and Zelda just doesn't really have the tools to deal with a lot of the stuff that Wolf wants to do. Wolf, much like Lucina, is just consistent. All the moves work exactly like they need to, they KO exactly when they need to. You're not going to fall out of any wonky hitboxes. This character is just solid all around, which is why a lot of people still think 4 years on, this character is in that top 10 range. Definitely has a argument for being that high, and we're going to see why here, as we see, at 39% lead without being touched right now in this last game, potential last game, for Oakland. Yeah, I think Whirlpool Nerfer is likely going to take this.
I think you are indeed correct. This is going to be a really one hell of a run here for Blonde Pants if they can make this happen. They've slowed it down, though, which is what you have to do against Wolf, a character that, definitely a momentum-based character, and you don't want to get them started because once they do, they don't stop. Here it is, baiting out these out-of-shield options, and now you're against the corner. What do you do against these really quick back airs? The forward air's going to be waiting as well. The fadeaway nair doesn't land, keeps Balloon in the shield, and then able to use just a bare minimum of that Phantom to get out and try to get some control. Nice parry, but the up smash is not going to do it. And the surprising option considering it wouldn't have killed either. But once again, slowed down, looking for the jump. Doesn't find anything. Din's Fire going to whiff. Goes for another one. And Whirlpool just knows, like, hey, I literally can... I got a ton... I mean, honestly... Now that I just noticed, the timer is not set for crew battle, so I'm almost wondering if Whirlpool was looking at that and was like, wait, I could time you out, but no, finally finds the soles of the shoes there. The back air lands, and Oakland takes the last game 6-0, takes the series 2-0, and advances further into these last chance qualifiers, keeping their streak alive and their lives aligned here in the 2022 fall season.
And unfortunately for St. Ambrose, that's going to be it for them in this season, but a very valiant effort. There were a lot of schools into this tournament, and to make it all the way up to the LCQ is nothing to sneeze at. I'm very proud of them. They should all be very proud of themselves. Very solid season. We are definitely going to see them in the future. It's a school, even though we didn't see too much of them, a lot of potential. I think their character roster may be a bit... I feel like the characters don't complement each other that well. You have a lot of characters that struggle against swords, who can't really land and can't consistently take KO. So I think if they kind of shore up their character roster a little bit, kind of solidify, a couple things here and there, I feel like they could do a lot better. But hey, when the 2023 season and beyond starts, I fully expect St. Ambrose to do very well. Very solid output from them, but again, that's competition. Someone has to lose, and unfortunately, it was St. Ambrose, but Oakland University going to be in the playoffs. A team I definitely do not want to see. Like I said earlier, they are just a team that is just 1 through 5 very, very solid. We see a lot of top-heavy teams in this tournament where 1 or 2 people are like incredible, other 2 people are good, but not quite on that level. Oakland, I think, out of all the teams we've seen, probably one of the most well-balanced. It feels like there's no weak link here, whether it's Whirlpool, Spectral, Trisket, Poison Jam. Didn't see Typhoon today. No matter what, everyone just comes in, does their job, and everyone played just as well as everybody else here, which is why they won. So yeah, definitely a team I don't want to see in the playoffs. Whoever has to fight them, good luck. But I'm excited to see how far they go.
Yeah, same here. I think you're right on the money there. This is a team that is just extremely well balanced. Some of the best players we've seen in the fall 2022 season are on this team. And again, they're now 2-1 on broadcast, and their one time that they did lose on broadcast was against Northwood, right? So yeah, a team that absolutely is fine to lose to, and considering that was one of their 2 only losses in the regular season, remember they were 5-2. I'm not surprised that Oakland came out on top. I think they were the favorite on paper, and in game they were the favorite as well.
And you know what, everybody? We have another match coming up right after this interview that will be shortly. We're going to have Michigan Tech and DBU, Dallas Baptist University, but we're going to have an interview with Oakland University very, very soon. I really want to talk to them. I want to know kind of what their mindset was, because both of those sets were really like no doubters. That first one was a bit close, like a 5-stock I think would win St. In game number 2. That was like what, six or so. They was basically, no doubt for both of them. And we do have an interview already for Oakland University. We have Spectral. Wow. How are you doing, my friend? Congrats on making it through the LCQ. We could finally kind of take a sigh of relief. How are you feeling going into playoffs, man?
Very good, because our team, like we've been doing NACE for years now. Ever since we were a team for 3 years, we went 5-2. Northwood was the biggest problem in our league. We had lost to them, so we had to go to LCQ. They're just an amazing team, like in general. So we're very happy that we were able to get out. Now we're out of LCQ. You said. Mm-hmm. So we're just out.
I think you might be. I think you may be moving forward here. I mean, nonetheless, you got to keep racking up those wins to stay alive here for sure. You mentioned Northwood really quick before we jump into this game, but you came off of that loss in the conference playoffs. You faced Northwood, obviously one of the strongest teams in the league. Do you have any kind of feelings in terms of what you need to adjust if you do run into them again?
Honestly, for the sets, I feel like I don't want to give away too much, because of course we VOD review and stuff like that. We look up our opponents. We make sure we know what we're getting into each set. We take it very seriously, of course. And for Northwood, some of the sets, like both, because we played them twice. We put them in the conference playoffs, and we played them in the actual league. And each time, 2 of the sets went down to 2 stocks, and if one player just played a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? Like it could have swayed either way. So taking that to a game 3, and once you get to that game 3, you might have the momentum to push even further, So it's very, very good. So we're feeling very confident.
So having been able to watch your team, all good, a few times here on the broadcast, like you probably have the most consistent team I think I've seen, just 1 through 4, 1 through 5. I feel like a lot of schools are very top heavy, but every time we get to watch you guys, it's just like everybody seems to be just as good as everyone else. There's no weak links. So like, how confident are you in matches, like sending anybody in? Is there anybody that I'm not gonna ask you to call anybody out, but you're confident sending everybody in no matter what the situation is, right?
Yeah, like even if you saw it today, Ness went in, Lucina Ness. Like, yeah, I think it's closer than even than people think, but I just know that matchup, right? You put me in, we've counterpick a lot, so we know what player does good in each matchup. So of course we're gonna counterpick accordingly for certain matchups, like Greninja. Ness on Ken's terrible for Ken, So of course our players knew that as well. So. Of course, we're counterpicking. I think our team's very balanced. We make sure we're picking the best players here to come to Oakland to be able to go this far in these last chance qualifiers / playoffs. We're making sure our team's playing the hottest that they can.
Absolutely. And this past set, I mean, the first game was a bit close. The second game, y'all kind of ran away with it a little bit. So with that in mind, what kind of takeaways do you have from this set? Even though it was a definitive win, what do you think you're going to apply from this win over St. Ambrose as you move forward?
One thing I noticed from this thing is we noticed, of course, now that we're out of our conference, which is usually Michigan. Basically, all the teams in our conference were from Michigan besides like one. The internet is a bit worse, and that's Nintendo's issue, and we're going to have to adapt to that. We're going to have to adapt to that. When I played the NES, I noticed a bit of delay that of course, not on any of the schools' end, not saying that, but the internet's definitely going to be something we have to adapt to, because some characters work better on it, some characters don't. Like KhazixMayJump thrives in that, Like, he's gonna take off stock. Lucina, not as much, So I'd say that's one of our biggest things, and working on when to overextend, when not to overextend, when to overextend, the basics of Smash Bros. Neutral advantage state and disadvantage state.
Okay, Spectral, we're gonna let you go once again. Congrats on winning your LCQ.
I do want to say one thing. I do want to say one thing. I'm for MTU next set that's gonna be up. There are boys from the other conference, so I'm hoping MTU pulls a dub. Anyway, I appreciate you guys.
if they win, we'll transfer that message over for you again. Spectral, thank you so much. Congrats on your LCQ win, and good luck in the rest of the tournament. I expect you guys to do very, very well.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Okay. So that was Spectral from Oakland University, and he brought up a very good point that I honestly never even thought about. Obviously, up until this point, it was a lot of in-conference play. You're playing schools that are relatively close to you, and now you're out of conference playing schools from potentially across the country. You might be on one side, you might be from Michigan playing someone from California, or you might be in like Texas playing someone up north, or whatever the case is. And that's a point that they brought up that I never quite thought about. But one thing I do like to think about. This giveaway from ROTC.
All right.
That was not my best work. Our friends at ROTC want to give you a chance to win a free Camo Herschel Little America Backpack Pro. Check out the Nate Starleague Twitter to enter, and Herschel backpacks are fantastic. I have one myself, and trust me, getting one for free is a big deal. But I'm going to quickly just wrap up my point before we go to break. Yeah, having to play schools just from across the country, Wi-Fi is going to be a bit of an issue. Hopefully that doesn't become too much of a factor moving forward, as we're going to see schools from further and further away starting to play each other. But hey, either way, we have another match coming up right after this break. It is going to be Michigan Tech versus Dallas Baptist University. Right after this, we have our second last chance qualifier. We will see everybody very soon.
best idea of what he's actually capable of. And, you know, that second stock that he had against Woodchuck, man, was actually pretty clean. And we're seeing right now 130% just added on, unanswered into an F smash.
Round from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you get a little hopeful, you get a little excited, and then they defy all expectations. They come in here and they start to dominate Lackawanna, one of the best teams in their division. This is an incredible performance, but Aoka with a great steal of their own. I can't wait to watch the replay on this.
Around in the last seconds, T-Bam 3 kills. Might I add to that one? This time ISO is going to open up, and just in behind, he slays out onto 2. Backline of Churching Sea player number 4 looking to hunt him down, but he just can't win it out. ISO frying on Tuscan.
Advon already down half HP with a well-placed rail. The grab misses again.
Oh, it's going to be able to take out, but look at this. It's good finding both supports again. Chaco, man, is well. This be it. It's good show here on King's Row. So
I've had this before, but it looks like not everyone was there immediately. I don't know that they're going to be here fast. Diego's got the ult. It's smite in the pin immediately.
where's the TP? Oh, look at the back line. That combination. Amumu Akali. It's a triple kill. It's not the quadra. It's a godlike Lucy instead.
The help of Purple Panda. Flash out and they get rid of Sammy. Nice shot there from Doug downfield. And Jung's going to double down into the situation. So Western looking to look for 11 right now. Bomb's going to be her. Doug's going to retransfer Bleeds too. So
might have lost down on Aryan there in that first map, swapped in Kinmeister, but I'm loving the aggression that we're seeing. Kinmeister with the quad kill on the anti-eco.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the plays of the week. And if you are interested in watching any of those games, take a look at our schedule here. Overwatch on Tuesdays, Valorant on Wednesdays, Smash Ultimate today, Rocket League tomorrow, Overwatch 2 all weekend. Overwatch 2 and Rocket League, my apologies, all weekend long, both Saturday and Sunday, so you have no excuse to not watch at least one day of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. But here we go. We have our second match of the day here in the LCQs. Michigan Tech University, who we haven't actually seen on the broadcast yet, so it's going to be cool to see them up against Dallas Baptist University, DBU, who we did see a few weeks ago. A very solid team. They have your favorite character, Ridley, on it. Ridley, K-Rool, ZSS, Yoshi. You know, that's definitely an interesting roster as we see them right here on the side of MTU. They have Mac, Noko, Triple C, and Geyser, and DBU again, Conk with the ZSS and Joker, I believe. King Cannon with the King K-Rool. That is a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fast. Minix with the Ridley, and Torchy is gonna be rocking the Yoshi. You know, decent team all around. I feel like everybody on that team, minus maybe ZSS, might struggle with like swords potentially. We're going to see what Michigan Tech wants to do. We do know that they are going to be sending out Mac the Greninja first up against Minix's Ridley, and you play Ridley. You were talking a little bit during the break. You said that that matchup is kind of booty, to put it nicely, but to talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, so I mean, Ridley has such a hard time landing in this matchup. Like Ridley, it's if you burn those jumps in neutral, you're going to get really shellacked here. But Ridley has the edge where like forward smash kills early. Single fireball, as you're seeing, is not a bad option to deal with this long range Greninja play. You just have to be careful because if you confirm too many fireballs or just a bit too much, you're gonna get you know, jump in nared. So you really have to play as patient as you can. And so far, Mini's doing just that. Just once you get touched, you start to take a bunch of damage. And I think at this point in most matchups, you kind of accept like, okay, I'm going to take 50 or 60. You have to get back into it. But getting off the ledge going to be a difficult thing as well. That forward air covers so many options, and we might see a 0 to death here. Unfortunately, no Hydro Pump coming out.
Don't want to jinx it too early, but you might be right. 0 to 85 in what seemed like 1 or 2 interactions as we see Minix finally get a back air to put a little bit of damage on Mac. But you know what? that damage not enough as we see Mac absolutely decimate that stock. Like I said, only 20%. And I now understand why you do not like this matchup, Dak, because every single time Mac just gets their hands on Minix, it's like you're eating 30. Even if you drop the combo, you're getting a follow-up off a dash attack or something like that. This is going to be really hard for Minix to really do anything with.
Yeah, I mean, Ridley has one of the worst disadvantages in the game, and Greninja just exploits it super hard. You can get some traction off of, Nair, because Nair hits low enough on the Greninja where if you do that, like, immediately out of jump, you can get some kills. Or not get some kills, like, get something started. The up smash will also be a good tool to try to get some kills. And actually, despite that start, Mini has brought this back. Oh, nice job. The forward tilt, I'm surprised, didn't land on the tipper, but the down smash does connect. It does go past the ledge, and if you don't have invincibility, you have to be careful of that. So Mini will get into this. I would say this is honestly kind of even now, despite being at 50%. Has to be careful using the side Bs, though. Side B's a move you literally never want to use in this matchup. It's way too slow. It's not worth the risk, and Water Shuriken will likely stuff it if you don't outright miss the move and get punished. So have to be careful committing to that.
But now we have Minix getting pushed that right side of the stage, racking on a little bit of damage. Go up tilt into grab. You're going to see that back air conversion right there. And you know what? Really good confirm there from Minix. Took them from 0 to 87 right here. You know, you said you don't like that side B, but Minix using it at the right time right there. And now has the slight lead. This definitely looked like it was going to be all Mac all day about 30 seconds ago? Well, Minix showing why they're on this team and why this team made it so far, despite the matchup being relatively bad, playing it really as well as you can here.
Nice, another side B there. Those are actually led. I mean, it's obviously a great option in any situation if you have like a tech situation to punish, but also just great call out. And Mini so far has actually been finding some good opportunities to land that move, which just racks up so much damage and gets kills early. But that you don't want to just kind of be throwing it out in neutral, which is where it kind of, is really a bluster of a move here. But now Mini's starting to fish a little bit, knows that one good dash attack or up smash will kill. Forward tilt will put back in a really bad situation. That Nair, though, great job and disadvantage to use that to almost even kill Mac. Now that dash attack certainly will as well, and now you can see Mini is slowing this down as much as they can. Just a single option will kill Mac, and Mac is certainly aware of that as well, using a lot of these jumps to try to bait out options from Mini in order to punish, but that dash attack comes through, and finally Mini takes the lead.
Again, like I said earlier, if you tuned into this match like a minute ago, you would have saw Mac absolutely destroying a Mini as we see a Mac finally take that stock. But yeah, I am shocked this is this close after what we saw in stock number 1. Mini just playing this from that point on to absolute perfection. We see them adapting to the matchup midway through the set. And even if they do end up losing here, the fact that you took off 2 stocks in a matchup that is this garbage for your character, I think you've done a really, really good job, but don't want to count them out just yet. They're really one good interaction away from potentially taking this stock, but at the same time, so is Mac. I feel like if that was a lighter character, that might have actually been a stock if they charged it up for a little bit more, but Ridley, obviously being a heavy, could have a bit more survivability right there. And we have percentages that are about even right now, so we're going to see what Mac can do. Again, Greninja kind of struggles to get KO sometimes, does rely on setups. Potentially that one right there. That might be an SD. Okay.
Oh, no.
That might have been an SD.
The up B will get them back. I thought the Hydro Pump might screw it out. Now you can see Mini's really fishing, and you're going to get punished for that. Nice job there by Mac to close it out. Mini just didn't, I mean, I've been there going for those up Bs on stage. It's kind of an option that if you don't use it often enough, like, you just might catch someone with it. But if you whiff, you are going to get punished. And honestly, though, I would say, I feel like Mini, last time we saw them struggle a bit using the Ridley, so keeping things close against, Mac on the Greninja, which is a matchup that Ridley can struggle with pretty hard, especially on this stage.
Yeah.
A great job by Mini to keep things close.
And I feel like, even though Mini lost, I feel like I wouldn't be too upset with how this went, especially how the match started. It would have been really easy after getting almost 0 to death to kind of throw your hands up and be like, oh damn, like they got me. But again, kept composure, did everything, played the matchup as best you can. On the side of Mac, you would have loved to get out of there with maybe 2 of those stocks. I feel like Mac probably was really confident going into it, but maybe a bit of a reality check there. Going to be down to 1 stock. We do know that DBU still has King Cannon left, another heavy who's going to be playing K-Rool. We have ZSS, which might actually not be a terrible pick right here either. We have Torchy going to be playing Yoshi too. I feel like no matter which way you go, not a terrible way. If you send in K-Rool, it's going to be really similar to Ridley, where, you know, if you kind of get touched once, you might be taken 70-80%, but K-Rool does have that belly armor that can kind of counteract some of the stuff that Greninja wants to do. ZSS, a bit more volatile. I think Conk also plays Joker, if I'm not mistaken. Both of those matchups a bit more volatile. You're going to be getting, you know, good KO power, but you're going to be dying a lot earlier than if you were K-Rool. Then Yoshi is kind of in that, you know, nice middle, heavy, not too heavy. You could double jump armor out a lot of stuff Greninja wants to do. Decent KO power as well. So I feel like no matter which way DBU wants to go here, not terrible options, but I kind of lean towards going maybe Yoshi. Even though that matchup isn't great for them, just to take out one stock, I think that might be a good move.
Yeah, I think you might be on that. I think we might end up seeing Conk. I believe they were a Zero Suit and Joker, so I think that's just character that can play that speed matchup that, you know, Greninja is doing really well in. Characters that like do get a good amount off of grab, but don't need to rely on grab to get kills. So I'd be interested in that, and I am seeing. I'm interested what the rest of this roster is for Michigan Tech as well. You know, once Mac eventually drops, what do they have left? From what little research I was able to pull off there, I believe Triple C might be a Bowser Jr. or an Incineroar. Noko, I believe, is a Palutena, and Geyser a Bowser. So I think that might be crucial. I mean, I'm not entirely sure if Dallas Baptist knows that, because if they don't, they want to have that Palu. They want to have that Zero Suit and Joker available against Palu, right? Yeah. You know, K-Rool can struggle, obviously, against Palutena, as most big characters do. And Yoshi, I think, honestly, can have some difficulties against Palutena as well. And we'll see if you don't have those characters ready to go, you might be in for the long haul here, so to speak. Yeah, I think we're going to end up seeing Conk. I think that's just kind of the safer move to go with. But then that leaves you with K-Rool and Yoshi as your last two characters. So
exactly, yeah.
Again, that's a big part of crew battles. Like, do you put in this character, this matchup to get this done real quick, and then you're going to get counterpicked? And I think that's probably why you might want to bring Conk in, because Zero Suit and Joker can't really be hard counterpicked. Like, you know, like most, I mean, unless Mac plays out of their mind, Conk, you know, whoever comes in next is probably going to take that one stock away. So then you want to have a character in that doesn't get kind of hard counterpicked. And so I think we might see Conk. I could be wrong here, though. King Cannon, I think, also has a Corrin. That might not be a bad character to come in with, but it's Torchy. Comes in with a Yoshi.
So yeah, Torchy, man, I was actually right. I'm kind of surprised there. But they are sitting in Torchy, kind of that middle ground in between K-Rool and ZSS and Joker. Pretty heavy, so it's going to survive a lot of stuff. Has decent KO power, you know, like ZSS and Joker as well. Can kind of sort of struggle against Greninja at times because of how good Greninja is at just pressuring people. But does have double jump armor to get out a lot of the stuff that Greninja wants to do, because sometimes Greninja's confirms can be inconsistent, so that double jump armor is going to be very vital if Torchy wants to get out of this with all of those stocks. I do like the pick. I wish I kind of knew more about Michigan Tech to know, you know, say confidently who we might actually be seeing coming up next, but I do like this pick here from DBU. Torchy does need to actually take the stock without losing one. They don't want to be going down, you know, they don't want to be down a stock going into the next match, and I think they're more than capable of doing that.
I agree, and I remember Torchy being a strong Yoshi last time, and Yoshi's kind of an underrated character in this meta. So as much as maybe Zero Suit and Joker might be stronger on the tier list wise, Yoshi not a bad character to bring in. As we see Mac dropping those first two stocks. We're going to Smashville instead of Town and City. I know these stages look familiar and look similar on the stage select screen. I've been there before. No surprise. Torchy going to be obviously playing this range game and just staying out of the range of Greninja's burst options like dash attack and just, you know, slowing things down with the X throw. But also I love how Torchy is not letting, you know, Mac charge up Aura Shuriken a ton, not being able to sit comfortably on the platform. Torchy's going to go right in there and throw out that nair, throw out that forward air, try to lay in some kind of jump in to get things started, but Mac pretty slippery so far.
And you know what? Yeah, man, Mac just really have been touched quite a bit, but I feel like Torchy's been whiffing on a lot of the stuff they do want to throw out. And from the opposite side, the same thing. Mac's been throwing out a lot of hitboxes too, and Torchy has been able to, you know, kind of just avoid everything. Both of these are characters that have, obviously like, weird body shapes. They kind of contort themselves when they use their moves. So we're likely going to see a lot of whiffs like we've been seeing early, but that definitely was not a whiff as we see Torchy get that run off forward air, and that is exactly what they need to take that stock. Don't lose one of your own, and now we're all tied up at 9 stocks apiece. Now, on the side of Michigan, they have to determine who they're sending in next. I know you said they have Geyser, the Bowser, and then Noko and Triple C I didn't quite hear who you said that they played.
So I believe Triple C might be a Bowser Jr. or an Incineroar, and I believe Noku might be on the Palutena, and then Geyser on the Bowser. I believe that might be the case here. We're gonna see before we jump into that next game the final moments of Mac's last stock, and Yoshi, has that combo breaker potential. Grenader's gonna be looking for those strings across the stage, and Yoshi just says no to that. And then the forward air comes in. So a solid pick there for the Dallas Baptist squad to jump in with the Yoshi. Knowing that Greninja wants to get those strings going, Yoshi breaks those naturally and takes care of that. So we have now the rest of this. Torchy sitting on the wings for Dallas Baptist. Now, do we see potentially an Incineroar or Bowser Jr.? Do we see potentially a Bowser? Do we see potentially a Palutena coming in next?
Like Palutena, just matchup wise, I think is a decent pick. Palutena, again, a character that I feel like just does well against almost everybody. Never doesn't do terribly against really anybody on the roster. Just solid all around. But again, assuming Triple C does play Bowser Jr. and Incineroar, and Geyser does play Bowser, do you really want those two to be your last? Bowser is a solid anchor, but do you really want to have to rely on like a Bowser Jr. or Incineroar, if despite them both being solid characters? Do you want to really rely on that, especially when DBU still has ZSS and still has Joker waiting, who can absolutely just run over both of those characters? Incineroar maybe not as much, but Bowser Jr. and Bowser most definitely. So I think right now, Palutena is like the safe pick, but you might want to throw out maybe Triple C and Bowser Jr. right now, just so they manage to take off a couple stocks before seeing Palutena. Because I think, before seeing ZSS, I should say. Because I really feel like you want to avoid that. So I think right now you send out Triple C if it is Bowser Jr. to try and take off a couple things, and I would imagine if that is the case and Triple C does win, DBU is probably just going to send out Conk and ZSS, and then ZSS Bowser Jr. or ZSS Bowser, pretty bad for both of them. Bowser Jr. Bowser obviously can't really land that well. ZSS, incredible at juggling. Joker as well, incredible at juggling people. Incineroar does have revenge, so can kind of sort of deal with that a bit better than both of those characters, but it's at the end of the day still heavy, does struggle to land often. So assuming these are the actual characters, I lean towards just sending in Triple C, because I feel like out of everybody left on DBU, Bowser Jr. Yoshi is probably the best matchup for that character.
I think you're definitely. I honestly, I think we might even see Triple C in case they bring out the Incineroar. Incineroar is a character that can matchup check people really hard, and no idea if Torch is good with that. Geyser on the Bowser. Yeah, I think they save the Palutena for this. Bowser is a polarizing character in this matchup, because I think can contend with some of the super armor nonsense that Yoshi throws out, but really gets screwed up by the multi-hits that Yoshi has. So I think we're going to see Triple C's Incineroar, if that's what they have, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's my guess. So far, I've been pretty off book so far in this. And let's go.
You were right. Oh my god.
Yes. Okay.
Attack with the hard read.
There we go. I'm back in.
Attack with the hard read.
All that. Yes.
Oh man, I thought I was rubbing off on you a bit there, but clearly I'm not. Well, we do see the Incineroar from Triple C, a character that has, I feel like, been getting a lot of love recently. I think over the last year or so, people are starting to recognize that this character is very, very solid. A lot of success. We're seeing a lot of success at the high level. So I do like this pick right here for Triple C. Incineroar obviously has a lot of things that Yoshi, I feel like, might struggle to deal with. You have revenge, so you can't be throwing out eggs all crazy. You kind of have to be a bit more calculated with that, because you get a free revenge if you're Incineroar, which means free damage. But at the same time, Incineroar, I feel like, can't deal with multi-hits that well, can be gimped off stage relatively easily because of their linear recovery, and can get juggled. We did see that revenge go right there, so Torchy's actually kind of lucky that they missed that up air. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be very volatile. Both these characters can absolutely mess each other up if they get their hands on each other. But right now, the edge has been going to Triple C.
That Lariat is just such a good tool against these jump-ins, then obviously is able to just down B and absorb hits. So that's actually such a good check for Incineroar here against Yoshi. And Incineroar is a character that you start to play scared against. Oh!
Ouch.
Goes for the Alolan Whip and gets called out by Torchy, who takes this lead now for Dallas Baptist on the back of this 130% first stock. Nice, gets the Egglite, and now starting to rack up this extra credit. Again, avoiding this Alolan Suplex, or Alolan Whip rather, and doesn't get the back broken, not going to kill. Oh, surprised that wasn't even get punished, but nice, the Lariat used to get out of dodge there. Triple C, though, has to get this kill quickly and does so with a dash attack and ties things up.
Yep, 8 stocks apiece right now. Honestly, if the rest of this set goes anything like this, we might be seeing a 3-game set here. These teams seem to be evenly matched up until this point. Torchy managing to get that grab, but every single time it really feels like Torchy has gotten a lead in this. We see Triple C just come right back and use that incredible damage output that Incineroar has to keep them in the game. Incineroar, one of those characters where you're never truly up against unless you're up a stock. So right now, despite this, as we see like the lead closing right there, as we see, despite Torchy having this lead right now, you can't be too comfortable, can't rest on your laurels, and now we see Incineroar with revenge, and this is where it can get really bad really quickly for Torchy. Do burn that revenge on that forward air, but still took what, like 30 or something % off of that? That's crazy.
No, I think you're definitely right. Oh, just barely missed that. Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Both grabs cancel each other out. Oh, but that one's not. Oh, breaks out. Great job, and now that grab range just barely out of dodge. Again, looking for the shield grab. We know we're playing Ultimate. Those shield grabs are not going to be good, especially for Incineroar. But finally, lands an Alolan Whip. Not going to get the kill nonetheless. Yoshi's still pretty hefty. A lot of that weight in the nose. Maybe parrying those egg throws to try and get out of this. Goes for another one, and again, it's checked by the Egglay.
Man, Torchy grabbed the wrong way there, and Triple C just wasn't quite ready to get that punish. But right now, dead even. Back throw, I don't think that's going to KO just yet. Yep, good DI there from Torchy. Oh, no way you just did that. Yo, that's... you know what that is? That's when you ever play Smash with people who don't play Smash? That's what you do to them. It's like Yoshi and Kirby just hang on the side, get that Egglay, get that inhale, and drop them right off express to the blast zone. So really good stock there from Torchy. If you're Triple C, you gotta be kind of kicking yourself for getting hit by that. But when you're at 100+%, there's not much you can do. When you're in that egg, you're probably gonna die. And right there, Triple C taking a stock right back, and we are all tied up again. 7 stocks apiece, stack. This is dead even.
It really is. I'm not surprised, but I mean, Torchy has been doing a phenomenal job right now to keep this going, and against a character that can really just out of nowhere just destroy you, right? So you got to be careful against Incineroar, especially when they've got themselves charged up, which honestly I don't really think we've seen much of that at all, right? Like this is a pretty honest game here from Triple C so far.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't been trying to revenge the eggs too often. We're seeing them shielded a lot. There have definitely been a couple times where they could have used that down B to get a bit of extra damage on themselves, but I guess this option to play it a bit safe. Maybe they don't want to steal it out or whatever the case is. But I do feel like if they did go for revenge like 1 or 2 times, even right there, they decided to roll away from that egg instead of going for it. I feel like that may have been a big difference maker in this set, but right now Torchy with the advantage. I did mention earlier, when you're fighting Incineroar, you could never be too comfortable, as we might see a stock get taken right here. Alolan Whip, yep, there it is.
Whip comes in. No, not gonna kill. It has to be careful now, man. This is gonna be rough. Yeah, gets that whiff there. That is unfortunate. Cross chop will kill for sure. I think the revenges are probably just like too risky to go for. It's just such a slow move. The cross chop comes in. That almost actually connected with Torchy. There's the Alolan Whip, but all the way across the stage doesn't get the kill. And now both players at kill %. It's tied up. This is as close as it could be here, Mies.
Yeah, there we go. The forward air from Torchy, gonna take it. Torchy just barely surviving there with 1 stock, and I think that is the 4th stock we've actually seen Torchy take. Man, Triple C did what they could. That just came down to whoever got that last hit first. Does that make sense? Whoever got that last hit first, and unfortunately for Triple C, it was Torchy in that case. Now Michigan Tech down to their last 2 players. Torchy is only on 1 stock, as we're going to quickly see this replay. That Alolan Whip right there, I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't see Triple C go for like the up throw out of it. They went for the clothesline instead, which wouldn't have KO'd from that far. Yoshi getting that forward right there. Kind of shocked we didn't see them go for like, the up throw portion of that, or a variety of that side B. Don't think it would have killed, but I would have just gone for it just to, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Either way, that's in the past. Still got Noko, still got Geyser left from Michigan Tech, possibly Palutena, possibly Bowser. I think you probably do you just go Bowser to try and eat 1 stock? Do you go Palutena to kind of play it a bit safe? I lean towards just going Bowser to try and just clean it up like as quickly as possible. But then again, you risk DBU just going Conk and ZSS, or Conk with a Joker, which is a hard counter to Bowser. So for Michigan Tech, I feel like no matter what you do, you're not in a great position. But I do think Palutena might be a bit safer until Conk is gone, at least.
I think you might be on to that. I think first of all, Torchy doing a great job taking out, finishing that first stock, or that last stock of Mac, and then getting a full player wipe. So Torchy has definitely done their work here, and maybe even just takes off 1 more stock. I think we see Geyser on the Bowser. Just Bowser as an anchor can be rough. I mean, obviously you don't want to be getting counterpicked hard by Zero Suit or Joker. King Cannon can come in. I think K. Rool can actually do a pretty good job against Bowser with that armor that they have in the crown. But also King Cannon has a Corrin too. So you can have that Corrin pushed in, I believe. Yeah, I believe there's also a Corrin for King Cannon. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would lead into a counterpick situation as well. So I think just by the nature of having Palutena, a character that in this meta can also struggle to get kills for sure, but just like I think does a lot better as your anchor character. I think we're going to be seeing we are DDD from a player that we didn't even know is on the roster.
The bread and butter 5th player Psych out that has gotten us so many damn times. Is that Psych with the King DDD? Did not see that one coming at all. So we might have King DDD and Bowser potentially on the same team as your final 2. Definitely high risk, high reward right there. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, Psyche just to take out this 1 stock against Yoshi. This could be difficult because of how evasive Yoshi is, able to run away. You can deal with Gordos, with eggs. Inhale isn't going to be too much. Jesus, this is a body bag. Inhale is not going to be too much of a factor because Yoshi's going to be jumping around all the time. And right now, this King DDD pick from Psych, not looking too hot.
No, definitely not. Finally getting some Gordos in, though. Just like that kind of brings it back. Actually, really doing a good job bringing this back here. I heard what you were saying. Getting right back into this game. The egg roll going to get them. That's probably just potentially misinput, or just not an option you want to go for against King DDD. That back air landing will confirm. And the Gordo actually almost hits him into the dash attack, but that super armor is going to take care of the side of the forward tilt from King DDD. Now pretty much even here. The egg throw catching the jump, but also would catch at the ledge against the lack of invincibility now that they're above 100%. Has to be careful against these Gordos, though. Could easily kill or set up for a kill. 123, no spark, so probably needs maybe 1 or 2 more of those Gordos to land, but that's going to stop that jump just at the outset of the armor. The up air will land, and that's actually going to almost barely steal it. It was just too low from the top blast zone because it was at the ledge of the stage. That's not going to be enough either. Torchy still has an opportunity to maybe get 1 stock here. That throw comes out just in time. That's so close.
Torchy just doing whatever they can to stay alive. Are they going to survive another forward tilt? Yes, they do. Gordo not going to land just yet. Man, Psyche is doing everything they can to take this stock. Honestly, if Torchy can take just one, they may have done their job, and right on cue. Psych, the surprise, a 5th player over from MTU, takes that stock, does exactly what they need to do, and now 2 players in on both teams, and we are still tied. 6 stocks apiece. Both of them, again, only have 2 players left. DBU has Conk and King Cannon. I would imagine we're probably going to see Conk here. I don't know if K. Rool DDD is really... I'd want to see it just for the the memes, but I think Conk probably a better pick. Psych with the DDD doing exactly what they needed to do early on definitely looked like they were kind of getting bodied. I did kind of expect them to actually lose the stock here, but just, you know, staying the course, holding true. And that double jump armor from Yoshi came clutch so many times, man. But like, yeah, just staying the course, coming through, doing exactly what they need to do. We're going to see that shark with the up air on the left side of the stage really, really soon. But now the issue with tossing out King DDD, same goes for like Bowser, same goes for like Incineroar. When you're playing a character that is so easily counterpicked, you're putting yourself at kind of a disadvantage. Granted that you took that one stock, you did what you needed to do, but like I said, you risk getting counterpicked now. We do know, I keep mentioning it, Conk has that ZSS, which I would imagine we're probably going to see. Unless DBU has a surprise fifth player that we never heard of, I would imagine Conk is coming in.
I was literally about to say that. I'm like, we don't know who's actually going to come in. I think Michigan Tech might actually be in the better position here now because if DBU brings in K. Rool and I mean, Psych could potentially win that, but if Psych loses it, then you still have a Palutena to come in who can take care of the K. Rool and might have a good job against Zero Suit and Joker. Whereas, you know, if DBU brings out Conk first and Conk somehow doesn't really do a good job against this, you know, this DDD, you have a Palu who's still waiting in the wings potentially for Michigan Tech to take out King Cannon. This is I think as the Michigan Tech team, you kind of have to hope that Psych does a lot of good work on this DDD. I still think you bring in King Cannon, right? Like K. Rool, that crown is not only going to stop a lot of you know, jump ins potentially from the DDD, but also stops those Gordos, right? Can survive at high percents, gets a lot off of grab, and has actually a decent amount of range to deal with like that back air. It's a really good tool against King Dedede. So, and it has the Corrin potentially too, another character that does well against King Dedede. I think we send in King Cannon. I mean, Psych did a great job there. They might have lost that first stock though, if not for Torchy just getting that back air just a couple frames late, trying to send that, you know, reflect that Gordo. It's a risky move sometimes at that percent. You just want to hold shield. I think like you were so far across the stage, like you didn't have to hit the Gordo back, but you know, hindsight's 2020, and in a high pressure situation, you know, just a little bit of difference in frames means everything. I think we do see the King Cannon, either K. Rool or Corrin, come out next to try to just take care of this DDD. But as I said, I believe all three stocks, right? Like this is tied up. Yeah, this is tied up even. So anyone's game. If there is a series that is going to go to a game 3, this is it right here for sure.
Yeah, like both. Again, 6-6 going into this fourth or fifth game right here. One of the most even matches we've seen. Every time it feels like someone might be pulling away, the other player comes right back. I feel like matchup wise, the teams are very just, you know, character are very even. I think both have some weird characters, both have more consistent characters. Again, you have like the Ridley and the K. Rool, a bit more inconsistent on the side of DBU. On Michigan Tech, you have the Greninja, pretty inconsistent. Bowser, DDD can also be a little bit inconsistent, so it's a lot of just inconsistencies going up against each other, if we're being honest right here. But then they both have that one solid kind of character. They both have, you know, there's Palutena on Michigan. You have ZSS Joker over on DB. You had to have that one, like, okay, this is like we can throw them in wherever. Well, no, we know that they'll probably do okay against like 90% of the characters in the game. But then you just run the risk of losing that character. If you throw them in a little bit too early, but both Michigan Tech and DBU have been holding on to them, so we're probably going to we might see them both go last, honestly. You might see them both go last, potentially. Mm-hmm. But it's so hard to kind of predict who's going to go in because it's just like these rosters are so even.
Yeah, they really are. Both of these teams were 4-2 in the regular season. Both teams lost their first conference and only conference playoffs matchups coming into this. And this is, you know, Michigan Tech's first time in the broadcast. Dowd Baptist only their second time on the broadcast. And it is, in fact, King Cannon bringing out the K. Rool to deal with this DDD. Two big heavies. This is a matchup I don't believe we've seen on broadcast just yet, but I'm excited for it. This is just going to be an absolute bloodbath. Both of these characters just swinging for the fences on both of them. And I love to see it. I love watching me some King K. Rool. I actually like watching me some DDD as well. And so far, Psych has a slight edge. Oh, but wow. That counter. What? Didn't even know that was possible.
Am I tripping? Did he armor the inhale?
Literally armored the inhale. You're
Oh
correct.
my god, I don't think I've ever seen that interaction before. Granted, how often do you see King DDD versus King K. Rool in a tournament like this deep into a tournament? You never really do. It might be like a round 1 pools match between 2 scrubs, but these 2 players definitely not scrubs with the way they're playing. And the thing about this matchup is like we're either gonna see them die at like the low hundreds or both survive until like 180, and there's like no in between. They're either going to last a really long time or not last very long at all. And right now, up until this point, really even match, both at just over 100%. And this is actually a match where I feel like percentages don't even necessarily matter, as we see the dash attack and the Gordo, the double whammy coming through from Psych. Damn, that had to hurt.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about, you know, killing early versus killing late, I think K. Rool's the character that can get that job done, getting those kills earlier. But when you start to get at high percent, I think DDD starts to have the edge. I mean, sure, if K. Rool gets the grab, that'll be it. But those Gordos in the corner are so hard for K. Rool to deal with. And at high percent, when you have very, much less, invincibility frames getting back off the ledge, those Gordos start to become a massive threat. 168 for DDD right here. Might be a big penguin that, has a bunch of air, hot air in him, but still has a lot of heft to him. And so far, this Tale of Two Kings is going the way of King DDD.
This is such just like a wacky matchup. You're just seeing a lot of, they're in each other's faces a lot of, fast fall aerials on shield, a lot of whiffs and a lot of whiff punishes. I really feel like both of them are kind of looking for the same thing, as we see that belly armor from King Cannon potentially saving their life right there. But yeah, DDD up at 189%, and Psyche has managed to get King Cannon all the way to 104. The belly armor coming clutch once more. This might be the first time we actually see a team get a more than a 1 stock lead. If Psyche can manage to actually take this right here. Oh, doesn't do it. Down a stock right now. Sorry, losing that first stock right here. But King Cannon losing one right back. And you know what? Yeah, if Psyche could actually take this stock without losing it, we're going to see our first more than 1 stock lead of this entire set.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This has been neck and neck for both of these 2 teams. And for teams that have similar records, similar performances in the conference playoffs, now similar matchups here in this series. I would not be surprised it's going to go the distance. The difference between these 2 teams is almost negligible at this point. The inhale working out still for King DDD. That is crazy.
That belly arm. No, you're crazy.
Oh!
No. Let me tell everybody, okay? If you're not familiar with Smack, Jet Hammer is one of the most disrespectful moves in the entire game. If somebody ever charges that up against you, they're calling you trash, okay? And the fact that they managed to land it in that scenario as well, all jokes aside, very good read. I feel like that was a bit of matchup unfamiliarity from King Cannon, because as most DDDs will tell you, do not neutral get up when you see that hammer charging. Jumping is sometimes your best option. If they read that jump, they can get you there. Well, oftentimes jumping or even like a get up attack might be your better option. We just saw like neutral. No, that's get up attack actually. But the short range of K. Rool's get up attack kind of biting them in the butt right there. But yeah, ask any DDD main, they'll probably tell you don't ever neutral get up against Jet Hammer, because that's going to happen to you. That can take your stock as low as like 20 or 30%. I've seen it actually take even lower. And yeah, I feel like that was just a bit of unfamiliarity from K. Rool, from King Cannon. Just going right into that. But hey, if you're Michigan, you will take it. And now we see a 2-stock lead, the first 2-stock lead, I think, of this set going into the last character for DBU. And it's crazy how it's getting into the 5th, 6th match of this set for one team to finally kind of sort of start pulling away.
It's not over just yet.
Yes.
For this squad, it is DBU who right now are on the back foot with just 1 player remaining. And then honestly, there's another story here too, of course, is who is the last player for Michigan Tech, right? We have Noko, we have Geyser. So it could be a Palo, it could be a Bowser. And if we know that they've already dipped into a 5th player, now they're a bit more flexible, right? Like this is now, okay, like they can throw in Noko knowing that they have this Palatine to go, or they don't have to have. I would be surprised if they play both a Bowser and a DDD. I really would. Like,
and an Incineroar.
And an Incineroar. I'd be very, very surprised if that happens. If they win doing that, legendary.
Hey,
but
triple heavies on a team is something I don't think we've seen this entire season. So I respect it. It's definitely a choice. definitely a choice. The reason why you don't really see triple heavies or quad heavies, or oftentimes not even two heavies on a team, because of how exploitable, how counter pickable, if that's a word, they are. But hey, Michigan Tech has been making it work up until this point. But yeah, Conk still on DBU. ZSS, who is famously a heavy killer, basically has a plus like 2, if not better, matchup on almost every heavy in the game, minus like maybe a Kazuya if he really counts. But all the heavyweights, Bowser, DDD, King K. Rool, all of them, and we are seeing Kong coming with the ZSS. ZSS does very, 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 very well against all of them, and I cannot stress that enough. Basically, off of one down smash, off of one down throw, you're going to be getting a lot of stuff running up that damage. And want to know what else runs on? That's a bad one. I tried. Want to know what else we run on? We run on Duncan. Click on the banner below to find a Duncan near you. I tried my best to segue that, and I goofed it. I'm so sorry, Dak. I messed up. But you know who is not messing up?
Don't be sorry to me. Be sorry to Duncan, bro. Yeah, me.
With that combo, tried to get got a good up air string, and that's where Conk is really gonna thrive in this matchup. If you get one up air against DDD cannot land. You have Nair, which is an okay landing tool, but that's really it. And if you can anticipate that, you can basically do whatever you want to DDD, as we saw that boost kick coming, and I think they actually kicked the Gordo back into Psych and got the hit of the back air at the same time.
Yes, you're right. There's just so many aspects of this matchup that work in Zero Suit's favor, right? Like, you have Plasma Whip, you have Plasma, the Plasma Shot, Neutral B, which both send back the Gordos and give you landing options and poke at DDD. You have the up air combos, you have Zaire to poke in as well and do jump ins with. You have Flip Kick, get out of dodge. I mean, there's almost too many tools for Zero Suit to be effective with in this game, in this matchup against DDD, and you're already seeing that to full effect here. Now, if Conk, that said, Conk needs, I think, to get this stock without dying. Because at this point, that's risky. Almost got the dash attack. Very, very close, but I think needs to get this stock just to give their team that much more of a chance. Doesn't want to be going into this last one down a stock, but look at that. The catch on the Gorgo sends it right back, and the taunt to boot. Psych still on their last stock here, and Conk needs to make something happen with this second one, as now DBU down to just a few stocks remaining. Psych still sitting on their first. Meanwhile, Conk has 2 left. It's 4-2 in stocks for these two teams. And this DDD is you can't be risking it with Zero Suit. You got to take care of this DDD now.
And if you're Psych, if you can, it could be really bad for them. Okay, I thought they were gonna get hit by that down smash there. That could have been potentially bad for them. But yeah, if you're Psych, you really feel like you have to take at least one more here before you potentially lose yours, because Michigan Tech might have your last character might be a Bowser, who ZSS can do a lot of stuff on as well. So you really want to get out of this if you're Psyche and you do lose this match.
That has to be it. That has to be it. No, drops it.
Yeah, if you're Psyche, barely surviving that. You want to get out of this. If you don't get out of this, you want to at least take one more stock to help whoever your last teammate is clean this up. But oh my god,
that has to be it.
That's a punish.
Misses it again.
Conk is whiffing on every opportunity. That was 3 again. Oh my! I feel like at some point in time you just have to stop fishing for the upbees. Maybe start farming for some back airs or something like that. But man, that's 3-4 missed opportunities there for Conk, and lucky for Conk too. Psych not really punishing it.
Still, I mean, Psych has brought this back here for sure, and might be able to take another stock from Conk. Has to be careful. That's Psych. And goes for a dash attack. You can't whiff that. And even from across the stage, DDD will still die. And Psych finally goes down. Conk does it, but drops a stock in order to do so, which means it'll be 3-2 in stocks going into this final matchup, giving Michigan Tech just a slight edge here as they try to wrap up game 1.
So we still have Noko on the side of Michigan Tech. Still have Geyser as well. Geyser potentially Bowser Corrin, Noko with Palutena. If you go Bowser, you risk basically getting. We saw what Conk did to DDD here. You get hit once, and it feels like you're getting hit 7,000 more times before you have the chance to land. And Bowser probably has a harder time landing than King DDD does, so that's going to be a really bad matchup if they do go that way. Palutena, not going to get KOs as often as we see that up B kill right there after Conk whiffed 3 of them or something before that. But yeah, we have Palutena.
Charm.
Hey, eventually, mathematically, you're going to get it at some point. But yeah, we have Noko with Palutena, a consistent character but I feel like not a great anchor character. I feel like Palutena's a good like middle of the pack kind of cleanup character. Someone has like a stalker left, you know, you throw Palutena in to kind of clean them up because you can't really counterpick Palutena. So not the greatest anchor despite being a very good character. Geyser might also have a Corrin, which would be interesting. Corrin ZSS you don't see often. ZSS isn't really going to struggle to get in despite Corrin having a sword because of how quick ZSS is, how maneuverable they are. Flip kick is basically a get in for free tool if you know they do go Corrin, but we are going to see who it is, and it is going to be
Drum roll.
Is going to okay. Noko
Wolf
has
from
a
Noko, okay.
wolf. Okay. Oh, I do like this pick. Wolf, much like Palutena, is just solid all around, but has significantly more kill power, has a bit more speed to kind of deal with what all the ZSS shenanigans that character wants to do, and yeah, just going to get a lot more consistent KOs, and isn't going to have as hard of a time landing.
No, I think you're right. That's the major key here. I mean, to be fair, Conk did whiff a few Zero Suit like confirms here.
Yes.
But Wolf is a character that, by and large, comes across kills a lot more often than Palutena does. And don't be fooled by the count at the top. It is 3-2 in stock. So Conk there's only 2 stocks left for this DBU team here. Noko has to find their way in and wrap those up, and so far has been doing just that. Has the edge in this first stock here. It's just been, again, Wolf, a momentum character, and has that speed to work with and play against Zero Suit, looking for these landings, trying to force a tech chase situation to try to get a forward tilt or a down smash, and then the jump in, empty jump into the grab will confirm that first kill, and now only 1 more stock to go for not just Conk, but for DBU in this game 1.
Oh, and what? Hey, homie stock, I guess. Hey, if there's Noko, just want to make it a little bit interesting, you know? But Conk, I think, man, they're going for a lot of unsafe moves. We're seeing a lot of side Bs. We're seeing a lot of down smashes that don't really have much of a chance to hit. And lucky for Conk, I feel like Noko, with the exception of that 1 stock that they took, hasn't been punishing them super hard. But I think Conk, you kind of have to be a little bit less trigger happy with, things like side B, things with down smash, because eventually you will get punished. And either way, at 100% right now, Noko looking primed to take this, really like 1 back air or down smash away from taking this. If Conk has anything left, now is the time to whip it out. But Noko has just been playing a solid, consistent game up until this point and gets that scoop hitbox with the up smash to take the first game for Michigan Tech. That was as close of a game as it really can be. Momentum didn't really shift any one team up until really that last match. And again, I think both teams are just solid all around. Didn't really see a weak link coming through from any side. I did kind of, not gonna lie, when I saw Minix with the Ridley, I did kind of think that might be a bit of a weak link, but played very, very well against Max Greninja. Took out 2 stocks in a matchup that, like you said, is complete booty cheeks for Ridley. And I really feel like, other than that, this was as even as a match as you can get. But as soon as we saw one team get a 2-stock lead, that really was it, because they got that 2-stock lead and went even from then on out. And obviously, if you're down, you have to play a bit better than your opponent does in order to make that back. And I think that's why we saw Michigan win. They just got that lead and hung on to it.
Yeah, and it definitely helped that they had Noko waiting in the wings. I'm certainly expecting them to perform super well in the game 2 of this series, which is coming your way on the other side of this break, so don't go anywhere. More of the Smash Ultimate Last Chance Qualifier here at A-Star League will be coming up right after this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League 2022 Fall Season's Last Chance Qualifier. We have Game 2 between Michigan Tech University and Dallas Baptist University coming up. And that first game, if you missed it, came down to the wire. Last player each. And it was a narrow two-stock W for Michigan Tech, but that really could have went either way if a couple of hits kind of, went on the opposite side. So what are the adjustments DBU is going to make? We do know that they are changing their lead. They are going to be sending in Torchy first instead of Minix with Ridley. So we're going to see Yoshi, and I know Michigan Tech is going to be sending in Mac with Greninja, who I believe opened up for them in the first match. So Michigan Tech just going with the same strategy they had before. And yeah, DBU, I think switching out Ridley for lead is a decent idea because of just how easy it is to counterpick the character. I feel like maybe saving Ridley for someone like a DDD, maybe for a Bowser. If we see that, one of the heavies might be a bit better for that character, because going up against Greninja is going to be bad. Going up against Palutena or Wolf, if Noko goes, if they see Noko, is going to be bad. So I really think between Incineroar, Bowser, DDD, I think saving Ridley for one of them is probably the best bet for that character.
You're definitely right, and just leading off with Ridley, like you said, it's such a risk, right?
It's
and
bold.
You get card counter picked, early. I think this might just be on also DBU's side, calling out what they think is going to be Michigan Tech sticking with the same lineup because they won. So if they think, okay, they won, they're not changing anything, that means they're gonna stick with Mac as the Greninja leading things off. Well, then let's bring in Torchy, the Yoshi, who did a really good job against Mac in that matchup and really brought things back for them and kept things close. So not a bad read there by DBU. Torchy, again, really solid player on that Yoshi and had a specific good matchup against the lead for MTU. So I think on paper, this is a solid shift. Of course, this is do or die though for Dallas Baptist. They lose this game, they are out of not just the tournament, they are out of the season. Their run will be over. That'll be it for them here in the 2022 fall season. So every little move here counts. And now that they have that Yoshi potentially, being, let's say Mac is able to handle it here, I don't know. Torchy was a player that had a really substantial impact in that previous game. To lose them early could be a massive deficit in game 2.
I really feel like Torchy is what kept them in the match for a lot of that, even though it was dead even for everything. I really feel like Torchy was at least the MVP for them. I think King Cannon also did very well too, but I think Torchy was probably their best player. But yeah, losing them potentially early could be devastating, especially because just looking at your characters, you have K. Rool and Ridley, who are both solid. I think if you have one of those characters on your team, you're good. I think having both of them on your team can kind of screw you over. They both kind of thrive off matchup unfamiliarity, but they both kind of lose to the same stuff. You both just get carried from one side of the stage to the other. You get juggled. Everything bad kind of just happens to you. So I think having both of them on your team, not great. Especially when Michigan has Greninja, they have Wolf, they have potentially Corrin, who are all amazing characters at juggling you from now until tomorrow. But to kind of end my point here, I do like that they're not sending in Mini first. And like I said, I think saving them for one of the heavies is going to be a bit better. I like the Greninja start from Michigan, no matter who DB. They're not going to start with Conk, so no matter who they go, I feel like matchup-wise are pretty good, whether it's K. Rool, Ridley, or Yoshi. It is going to be Yoshi in this case, so I think we're okay there. And I think they're just going to do the same strategy they had. I don't know, just stay the course, get a 2-3 stock lead maybe, and just kind of stay the course from there. So I think that's how this match is going to go.
Fair play though to Michigan Tech. They have DDD and Incineroar on their team too. So the DBU might be running K. Rool and Ridley might be sus, but DDD and Incineroar on the same team is also not very likely in most cases either. But that said, here we go. Game 2, Michigan Tech University up against Dallas Baptist University. MTU wants to get this dub to move on here. And of course, Dallas Baptist wants to bring this to a game 3. And so far, neither player getting any solid hits in the first 20 seconds here. No significant exchanges just yet. Just really solid neutral play from both teams. Nice mash out there from Mac. And just like that, Torchy trying to get a way back in and actually does get some stage control to get things started. Gets grabbed, down B, not going to find pay dirt entirely, but the Stars will get some damage in, and then just Mac comes right back in and takes the lead away.
I feel like this is a matchup where I'm looking at it, and I feel like it's gonna be really hard for them to get consistent hits on each other because of how weird these characters' bodies are and their hurt boxes, and how they just shift and move around on all of their attacks. And we saw that early on. But hey, right on cue, we're seeing Mac get some good consistent damage right there, and that could be a you have a jump still? Okay, yeah, you do. I thought Torchy kind of SD'd there for a little bit, but right when I say that, they both finally managed to get a few hits on each other, racking up a decent amount of damage. But now, I was about to say, now we're going to see Greninja possibly struggle to get a KO, but does manage to land that sweet spot up smash, which will KO people very, very early. And now putting Torchy on the back foot. They got to do whatever they can to take the stock. We saw in that first set, you can't afford to go down 2 stocks in this match with how even both of these teams are, because I really feel like if Michigan goes up 2 stocks again, they are not going to get rid of that lead at all.
Yeah, they're not going to let go. And coming into this one, Mac is doing much better in this matchup, which was a bit of a struggle for them. I like that Mac is going for a lot just individual reads and going for single hits here rather than trying to go for these strings that normally work for Greninja, but Torchy's been able to break out with armor with Nair, etc. A nice call out with the down smash nonetheless. And still somewhat even, though Mac has a significant advantage stock-wise or percent-wise, and Jill, just like that, 2 exchanges, and Torchy's right back into this. The dash attack comes in, but immediately at a disadvantage. There comes the ground pound. Yoshi Bomb drops right in. Another one comes in. The star saves them from the charge forward smash. And the drop in. Oh, Mac had it. Doesn't get the full confirm, but still just enough damage and the reset to keep Torchy in the middle of the stage and in the air. And Mac going to fall back, like maybe taking a breather for a second. Has to be wary of that forward air, though. That is going to be devastating. If that lands, and still Torchy able to break out again in a high-intense situation here above the stage.
And Mac, this has been just such an unlucky stock for them. We saw them miss that jab lock confirm on the left. We saw that double jump armor come clutch and break them out and break Torchy out of that back air. I really feel like Mac has been doing a lot of things right, but it just hasn't been able to close out the stock, and that might come back to bite them as we see a dead even match right here. Torchy opting to Yoshi Bomb on the ledge. That could be a punish. Nope. That down B, that down air, I think, just crossing up the shield right there. Mac unable to really get anything out of it. And this is where we're going to see Greninja just not be able to get any solid confirms. You can't really down tilt forward air at this percent. You're probably going to have to see a lot of short hop forward airs, maybe a lot of forward smashes. Up throw might do it. Yes, it does. Up throw is another way you can get KOs. But yeah, once you get to that like 130+% against Greninja, that's where you're going to see them struggle to get KOs. That's where they're going to let you back in the game. And they don't really have that consistent kind of raw KO move that they can toss out. They have forward air, which is a really good one. But that's pretty, readable if you know what's coming.
Well done by Torchy using that down B to get out of disadvantage in a pretty effective manner. A move that in a lot of cases would just, set you up for another whiff punish. Instead, Torchy really picking these battles. Nice job by Mac to get in and taking advantage of Yoshi's poor out of shield game, catching these jumps out with the back air. Back air of their own from Torchy. Gets the grab right out of it, looking for a jump, but instead goes right to the ledges. Mac, again, another forward air from Torchy. That whiffs as well, and now things are starting to get a bit more even. This could be a defining moment in this set. Who is able to walk away with this 1 stock remaining in the first matchup, and these players are completely even. So far, Dallas Baptist, potentially a good move, Dallas Baptist, potentially a good move to bring this Yoshi in, but at the same time, I mean, Mini was doing pretty well as well here. Did they potentially burn Torchy too early, and Mac getting the better of them, having a solid hold on this matchup the second go around?
Because, yeah, you know what? If Mac does win this, then you know what? Yeah, you burned Torchy already, and when Minix did just as well, Minix got out of this, Mac got out of that one with only 1 stock left, so this is a very, very high risk, sending potentially your best player in first, and even if Torchy does get out of this, and they are not going to, as Mac gets that up smash on the ledge, I am wondering, you mentioned it, I'm wondering if that is going to be what burns DBU. Now, they still have conked with the ZSS, just based on matchups. They do very well against most of Michigan Tech's people. But man, Torchy, I really feel like is what kind of kept them in that last match when it kind of sort of looked like Michigan was getting a bit of momentum. Torchy is what kind of kept it close, and now losing that early, man, that really, really sucks. And now here's the thing. I know you're probably not going to send in Conk right now. You're sending in likely King Cannon or Mini. both characters who are going to get counterpicked up until oblivion. Like, we have Noko here who plays both Palutena and Wolf. They can kind of pick and choose their poison right there. You have Geyser, who potentially plays both Bowser and Corrin. If they play Corrin, similar to, like, you know, Wolf or Palutena, you're going to get juggled up from now until next week, as we're going to see that up smash right there taking that kill. They have Triple C and Incineroar, who, for a heavy, does a really good job at juggling as well. And honestly, King DDD can't really juggle you, but can keep you honest while you're in the air, which is what is going to suck if you're King Cannon or Mini here. Man, sending in Torchy first and not coming out with a W, I think this is what's going to bite them, Zach. Like, man, this is hard.
Yeah, Mac played really well there. Again, Mac had a little bit of trouble against Torchy last time, so for Mac to really change things up and adapt, massive in this matchup, considering they came out of with a loss last time. And you saw in that replay how in and out Mac was playing, like just outside of Yoshi's burst range, like jumping over egg throws, like getting away from down tilts. And then, of course, the air dodge in from Torchy set them up to get up smash on the platform. Just an unfortunate situation. But to your point, yeah, that was honestly a big loss there for Dallas Baptist, because you put in arguably the better character, the better player in Torchy, and they had the same result that Mini did in the previous game, right? So now maybe you bring Mini in to clean up Mac potentially, but that's a risk, because if Mac adapted to the Yoshi matchup, I'd have to imagine that Mac comes in and adapts to the Ridley matchup as well, one that they should already be winning. So that's very risky. You could, run the risk of Mini losing a bunch of stocks there. Do you throw out, your K Rule, who could also then be kind of dealt with by the DDD, who, Psych did a really good job against King Cannon. So that might have been a really defining moment in this series by having DBU change up their lineup and still getting the same result against Mac, who really stepped up in that starter position. So hats off to them in that Greninja. And now it's all extra credit. How many more stocks can Mac get going into this next one against the team in DBU, who has already lost one of their stronger players?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I'm just looking at DBU's roster, and there's no right answer to me, because again, you send in Conk if they lose a stock or two. Well, you know what? Before I go on, let's see who they actually send in.
There's a secret fifth player, man. We still always have to keep that in mind.
We've been faked out before, and we might have been just faked out again. Oh no, this is gonna be Conk. Oh, they are sending in Conk with the Terry. Okay, did not see that one. Did not have the Conk Terry on my bingo card today. Maybe you know what. Actually, no, you know what? Never mind. I was going to say something, but I am kind of confused here. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I think the problem now is if you lose Kong, you're left with two heavies. And you left with two heavies when the other team has Palutena, Wolf, Corrin, Incineroar, like I said before, all characters that can juggle you whenever they want to. So this is a very interesting move here for Dallas. Not sure I necessarily agree with it, but we'll see if the risk pays off.
It's absolutely going to have to, and right now Mac is probably feeling great about this, because they brought in Conk, their anchor, who is now down in percent against Mac. And this is a matchup where Ken can struggle landing that first hit, but also, unless they get the jab off, which they do, the go meter is not going to have too much of an effect. That is not the case here. The jabs land, and Conk does come in and clean up just in time too, because they were at kill percent. So Conk comes in, takes care of the Greninja. The thing is that I think what they're maybe doing here is putting out Conk early to try and get Noko out early from Michigan Tech. Force out the Wolf or the Palutena early, then surprise and get the win on that. And then all you have to do is deal with an Incineroar or a Bowser or a DDD, right? So I think that might be the strategy there. Get Conk out, or get Conk in to force Noko out, and then try to get Noko out as soon as possible. We're going to see this replay here, by the way, and this is, not a blink before and you miss it kind of situation, but the jump in just not spaced properly at all. The button didn't come out in time, and that jab is going to be quick enough to confirm into that final kill. So great job there by Conk to get it done without dropping a stock. It is still tied up 9-9 in stocks, but it's on DBU to force us to a game 3, so they need that lead quick.
And you brought up a really good point there with the, throwing in Conga there. They might be trying to, to snuff out Noko or trying to bait out Noko, but I'm sure Michigan Tech's probably thinking this. If we're thinking it, I'm sure they're thinking it too. So maybe they try to avoid that. But sending in either Triple C, Geyser, or Psych, I think Terry kind of eats all those characters up. Incineroar can maybe get away with some stuff because of revenge, but Bowser and DDD are just gonna get combo food. Like Terry already combos people, really easily, and those characters are gonna get comboed even more so. So you know what? Before I say anything, we'll see who the character choice is, and it is actually going to be. It is going to be Palutena. Okay, they did send out Noko, so you were right. You were 100% correct. They did bait out Noko right here, so we'll see if this risk pays off for MTU. But now, if MTU loses Noko, or if Noko loses like 2 or so stocks here, you're left with 3 heavies. And DBU's also left with 2 Well, I guess, you know what? No matter what, both teams are going to be left with only heavies left. So it might be a net neutral.
Yeah, actually. And we're talking about the previous matchup being the critical factor here. This is probably by far the most important matchup that we're going to see. And for this specifically, it's a matchup that I think Palutena definitely wins at early mid percents, right? Nair just eats up Ken. You have so much to work with, but the second Terry, but the second that Terry comes in with that go meter and is at high percent, Palo not only struggles to get kills, but Terry does not. So that was almost a risky maneuver right there. Noko does land the grab, and nice catching that situation on the platform with a massive side B. That's huge. Noko gets on the board first.
That was a really good conversion there for Noko. I feel like most people would be expecting either a forward air or a back air there, or maybe like a delayed forward air or back air. The flame, the explosive flame right on the platform there. I don't think Conk saw that coming, and right now that momentum, Noko was keeping it up. Already has Conk at 70%, but does get hit by that power dunk. Back throw. This is gonna be really bad. Gonna see another explosive flame. And the legs from that charging tackle barely poking over the ledge. Palutena able to get that down tilt, not able to take the stock though. We do see Go Beater. I expect to see a Buster Wolf or a Palzer Geyser popping out relatively soon, unless Conk loses the stock, and they do, and just like that, a 2-stock lead for Michigan. And you know what? The last time they got a 2-stock lead in game 1, they did not let it go. So if Noko can manage to hang on to this potentially, you know what? Doesn't hang on to that stock, but if they do manage to take this next one without losing one of their own, and they get that 2-stock lead, again, I'm repeating myself, but like we saw in game number 1, I doubt they ever let go of that lead ball.
I completely agree, man. Like, Noko is... I saw that Wolf come out earlier, or as that last player, I was like, it was close until Noko came out, I think. It was convincing. And now this Palo is just crushing it right now, and that should kill off the down tilt back air just like that. 8-6 now.
Oh boy.
And Noko coming in. So DBU got what they wanted, but did they know that that's what they wanted? They got Noko out, but now Noko's on the field and can start to run through the rest of this DBU squad. Like you said, there's a Ridley left and a K. Rule left against Palutena. I mean, let's go back to before I go ahead with that. There's a nice explosive flame, but look at the control that we see from Noko here, right? The spacing, flawless. The setups, perfect. That grab whiff, sure happens, but right here, Palutena is such a good ledge trapping character. You can't miss these opportunities, and Noko does not.
And because Terry's legs kind of poke over the ledge before they actually, before they actually cling to it, that down tilt is going to get you almost every single time, and that is exactly what Palutena wants, and we saw it happen right there, which is why Conk ended up losing. But yeah, DBU, K-Roll, Ridley left, unless they have a fifth player, or King Ken or Mini play someone else. Yikes, this is going to be really, really tough. And the thing is, if they lose that, they still got to potentially deal with Corrin, potentially deal with Incineroar, who can juggle you almost as well as anyone else in the game. Man, sending out Torchy that early for DBU, I really feel like is going to come back to bite them. This 2-stock lead for Michigan Tech, like I feel like we're probably going to see them hang on to this the rest of the way, if not expand on it. Man, if DBU, if they have a secondary, I think now's the time to whip it out. Your whole tournament life is on the line. And no offense to DBU, but if I was in the tournament and my last two choices, were K. Rool and Ridley, I'd be a bit sweaty. Not gonna lie. No offense. I know you play Ridley.
Yeah, I would be shook a little bit here for sure. I'm wondering if they do have that fifth player. I remember last time that DBU was down here, I don't believe they did. So this is looking like it's going to be MTU's victory here. I mean, I don't want to sell this completely short or like too early right now, but I feel like Noko is kind of player skill-wise above and beyond the other players we've been seeing tonight in this matchup. We've only seen a few stocks from them, but they're both their Palo and their Wolf have a lot going for them. And you're right, to have a K. Rool and a Ridley as your last two matchups, especially against a Palutena.
Exactly.
Like, K. Rool struggles with Palo. Ridley, one of his worst matchups. Like, that is a difficult situation to put yourself in. And not having the Zero Suit or Joker or the Terry or the Yoshi to come in and try to respond to the strongest player that MTU has, Dallas Baptist, their run might be over. I'm very curious to see how they're able to take out Noko. To be fair, Noko has two stocks, but this is a situation where you can't keep throwing bodies at the problem. You only have two left. Maybe if this was early in the set, early in the game, if Noko let off, like, okay, you could throw bodies at the problem and get rid of Noko, and then maybe you have a way to get back. But that's, again, the nature of the crew battle, is that it's sometimes, even for the best players, hard to come back from a substantial lead, no matter how good you are. And DBU might not have enough gas left in the tank to be able to make that happen.
And like, I don't want to count anyone out too early. Thing with heavies, as much as they get bodied, they can body you right back. They're never truly out of a match just based on how much raw kill power they have, but that's only if you can manage to land a hit. And with Palutena hopping around and jumping around, and we saw how much control Noko had in that last match with their spacing and everything like that, getting those big hits that you need as a heavy are going to be, very far and few between. So let's see if they do opt to go heavy, or if they're going to switch, and they are going King Cannon's K. Rool here. Man, this, I would imagine we're going to see a lot of neutral airs coming out from the side of Noko, and King Cannon isn't really going to be able to deal with them too much. And here we go, right on cue. And you're putting yourself in a kind of a bad position with that up B.
Kind of a bad position.
That was about. Yeah.
That's an understatement, my guy.
Not sure what that was all about. Didn't get punished too heavily for it, but did still eat quite a bit of damage. And now King Cannon at the ledge. That crown assist coming through almost saved them from taking a lot more damage there. But you know what? King Cannon not playing terribly up until this point.
I think that little, one thing Ridley doesn't have, which, man, if Ridley did, the armor, right? Like, that's going to keep K. Rool alive a little longer, but just the big body you have, like, you can't really commit to anything against Palo. And Noko is just schmoving right now. That crown is going to be nice, and it will keep King Cannon alive against grabs and, like, throw attempts a lot of the time. But you have to imagine, pretty much, you're losing your first 50-60% almost every single time. It takes one nair, one forwarder to get that train going. Ooh, I was like, wow, is that going to kill? Like, that had to be one of the worst DIs I've ever seen if that did. Not saying it was right there. And that up smash still connects. Wow. That is wild. And now, just like that, Noko has lapped King Cannon in percentage, looking to get yet another kill.
And is, a one good hit away from getting it. No tech on the platform, but K. Rool being heavy is going to survive a bit longer. Probably not going to survive another backer at the ledge. Can King Cannon take at least one right here? That's really, I feel like, the most that you can ask for with how Noko has been playing up until this point. Oh, I thought we were going to see a grab there, but we do get a back air. King Cannon now down to their last stock. DBU, Dallas Baptist University, down to their final 4 stocks of their tournament life. And there we go, King Cannon finally managing to take one. But man, if you look at the stock count, they still got 7 left that you need to do it. If only 4 stocks left with Ridley being your anchor, not looking too good for DBU, man.
Right, like, I think Noko picking this last stock up and being 1 stock left with 2 more players, I think this might be it for DBU. You can't count them out just yet, but a Ridley anchor we'd have to hope that they're one of the best Ridleys in the world right here, and no shade to Mini for sure. Mini is definitely a strong Ridley for what I've seen too, right? But this is not over just yet. King Cannon can still pick up the stock, right? But has to. For DBU to stand a chance here, King Cannon has to get this stock.
Oh, that DI was disgusting. Yeah. Oh my god.
That didn't hold the right way against that down throw either.
Wow. That wow, that DI was terrible. No offense, but man, there's no way I really feel like anyone should have died to that. But either way, that back air coming through from Noko, and now DBU down to the final 3 stocks. We're gonna see a replay here. That percent was way too early for that to be a no doubt KO like that. I want to see what percent that grab was at. Right now, 111. Yeah, he DI'd straight out. Yeah, wow. That DI, again, if you're unfamiliar with how Smash works, when you're in the air, you can kind of sort of influence the direction you get knocked back. So when you anticipate getting hit out to the left, you kind of want to hold like down to the right to kind of negate some of that damage or some of that knockback. And I really feel like Cannon was just holding way out left, put them right into the blast zone. Didn't even get the kill screen. We got the kill spark, not even the kill screen. So I don't even think the game realized that King Cannon was actually going to get KO'd there. But hey, either way, it's in the past. DBU down to Mini with the Ridley. I don't know if they have a secondary. Don't know if they have a third, fourth, fifth character, but
yeah,
man, this is the time to do it. This is the time to whip it out. You know this is a bad matchup. Granted, it's only 1 stock you have to take from Noko, so I don't want to count DBU out just yet, but they still have 2 other characters. They still have 7 stocks left, man. This is crazy. Did not expect it to go this way after how close the first match was.
Yeah, I think it's just a hard situation to be in, because I think you do want to like DI that down throw out, but then if you're doing that, you're holding out against the back air.
Exactly.
I know some characters who have like a strong enough fast fall, like a fast enough fast fall, really can kind of hold down and that and then down and out, but you generally want to hold like kind of out and up in that situation. But K-Roll is still so big that like even if you have the right DI read, like you end up getting hit. So yeah, that is a unfortunate situation to be in. And for DBU, they are in dire straits right now. Michigan Tech, I think it just came down to, we're talking about consistent lineups and having like well-rounded lineups, but sometimes all it takes is that 1-star player, and Noko is just head and shoulders up above the competition. And whether it's the Palutena or the Wolf, they have been getting it done. Noko, I mean, if King Cannon got that last stock on Noko, I would say DBU still has a chance for sure. Yeah. But giving Noko another chance to do some damage here against Mini in a literally one of the worst matchups in the game, as far as I'm concerned, very, very tough. Unless Mini has another character that we either forgot about or don't know about, which if you're playing Ridley this far into the game, you do need to have that, especially in a crew battle situation. I don't believe we've seen another character from Mini, though, and that's also with notwithstanding, does Dallas Baptist have a 5th and final player to run? We are going to find out right now, though. Is this it for DBU? Will Michigan Tech take the series 2-0, or will we get it to come back? No, it is, in fact, Mini coming in. Mini on the Ridley has to take out 7 stocks, and one of those against a Palutena.
Look, I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch, but before we get into the match, ROTC, become a leader for life. We also have a giveaway on Nace's Twitter for a ROTC Herschel bag. Please go join that. But now, back to the game. Man, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but I think at this point, it's relatively safe to say that Michigan, unless we see a bag fumble of catastrophic proportions, I think it's safe to say that they're probably going to take this. Like already 47% first stock, and Mini is just struggling to get through the auto reticles, struggling to get through the explosive flames. Does get a grab right there, and it's going to rack on. Oh, okay, damn.
Wow, reads the jump. That was sick. Great job by Mini. That was awesome. That matchup is self-explanatory right there. Like, it's so hard to get in against all that stuff. You can't fireball because you get reflected. What you do have to do is dash attack the auto reticle, which they finally did. But the up B, that was nasty.
That was
catching
gross.
The jump in. That is as quick of a kill as you could really get in that situation, and it is pulled off. Let's see that replay right here. Look, there's nothing happening. There's no way. 0% starting off this clip. The dash attack gets it going. They're able to come in and get him off stage with the side B, but it's that up B on the jump just as invincibility goes away and catches him with probably one of the earliest kills that's happened to Noku this season. A fantastic job there by Mini. Again, like I said, it's a hard matchup. Mini, though, I've seen some really solid stuff from this Ridley, and I'm happy to see it. That was smart, big brain thinking from that big dragon right here, who is not too big to be in Smash. And now, I mean, 3 stocks for Mini to work with against either an Incineroar, a Bowser, or a Dedede. All matchups that Ridley can, in fact, win, and might even have a slight advantage in it. I would say probably not, but can win. This is doable. This is absolutely doable here for Mini. Absolutely.
Because they got out of that match with Noko without losing anything, I absolutely agree with you. This is not over just yet. Again, Triple C with Incineroar, Geyser, Bowser, Psych with the DDD left. Like you said, all matchups that Ridley can do decently against. I lean right now towards Incineroar coming out because Ridley can't Fireball for free because it's going to get revenged. I think that's going to be a really big factor, and we do know that Mini likes to go for those Fireballs again. It's a pretty solid move in neutral. Incineroar has a really good up air for juggling. Ridley, not the greatest at landing as well, so I think that's going to be something too. And again, Geyser, I also think Geyser also might play Corrin. We might be wrong about that, so that's also an option as well. I think Psych DDD, I think just no offense to Mini here, I think Psych is kind of just a better player than Mini, so we might actually see the Psych DDD. But we'll see right now. And we are seeing Incineroar, what I said first. I do like this pick. You can't just Fireball willy-nilly. You can't just you got to be very careful with what you throw out. You're gonna get juggled. You're gonna get grabbed. So when you get Incineroar off stage, that's when you have to go for some run off nairs, maybe try and get some fireballs to kind of push him back horizontally. Edge guarding here for Mini is going to be huge if they want to win this.
Absolutely. You cannot, literally, the second Incineroar is off stage, you have to get this kill right here.
Yeah, okay.
And doesn't call out the cross chop. Yeah, the nair, the jump nair would have been a great asset to go for. Nice tipper forward tilt. That's one of Ridley's best ranged move in this matchup. But Incineroar blows up stocks, and already Mini back up to 57%. I think looking for the wave dash on the platform, doesn't get it. Has to be careful though. I mean, at this point, I would also be looking for side B off ledge right there, because you either get that side B kill off stage, or you get on stage for free. But the cross chop again, landing cleanly, and that's a big damage.
Man, Triple C is just kind of hanging around the ledge too long. That's like the second or third time we've seen them get side B from the ledge. They're gonna have to adjust at some point in time, or one of them is gonna get a KO. As we see Mini get that up B KO, still in this, lower the deficit only down to 2 stocks now, still hanging on to 3 of their own. They might lose it right here if they get Alolan whipped, but they're doing everything in their power to not let that happen. And Triple C's definitely looking for it. I feel like this revenge is gonna run out relatively soon. Oh no, that's another punish. Oh my gosh, that's the second Lariat we've seen them get punished by grab. And you know what you said earlier? That side B grab, it's a very risky move to go for if you're Ridley, but they've been getting it almost every time they've attempted it.
Well, I think it's definitely risky in a lot of matchups. This matchup, I don't think it's very risky though, actually. Just because there's just not much Incineroar can really do, like in terms of speed to get around it, and doesn't have like a strong projectile either. So yeah, I think in this matchup, you definitely go for it for sure, and Mini's doing a great job of that. I would even actually be trying to bait for a Ridley side here. Oh, going for it all right there. That would have killed for sure. And a back air would also do great. Another side B. Yeah, I love this. And also, not only is the side B good to get damage and kills, but also it'll nullify the Alolan whip if that comes out. So you have to keep that in mind as well. These fireballs, just keep it running. Just keep it going. And another one, this might look, to be fair though, the side B is now probably stale. So now you don't have that as a kill option. Ooh, and it catches that tall dragon. No. Mini dropping that stock. At this point, Mini cannot afford to trade, being the last player on Dallas Baptist. And now you can see Triple C's looking for the side Bs, knowing that Mini wants to clean this stock up. Yeah.
And like you said, if Mini wants any chance to win this, really, I feel like they have to take this out. After you see another Alolan whip coming. Oh my! Hey, wrap it up. GG's. I think that's safe to say at this point, Triple C is gonna take this after that terrible trade for DBU. Mini was playing so well up until that point. Does manage to take that stock with the up smash. Oh my gosh, man. But they needed to get out of this without losing a stock, and now you have full revenge over there on Triple C. Not in a position where you're going to get a KO, but you will eat, like, what? If you get an Alolan whip, like 30 or so % damage. Probably even higher than that. What we're going to see here, they went for that spike like they got against Palutena. Couldn't quite get it, though. Cross chop, not going to do it either.
I think this could be it here. As much as Mini's putting up a good fight, that second stock was so rough. They need to get this kill right now, though, of course. 112 for Triple C. Starting to get a little bit slippery here, a little bit messy. And now at this point, that side B still not going to kill because it's so stale.
Oh, no!
And the Nair should have been there. All right, I think
here
should be able to get them back.
I thought down here was going to come through.
Yeah. Triple C could have cleaned it up. That should be it for this Incineroar, though.
I think every jump still. Oh, no, you don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, Mini barely surviving. DBU still on their last stock, potentially, for the entire tournament. Again, this is the last chance qualifier. If you are out, you are going home. We are not seeing you again. It is your last chance, and Mini has to play and has been playing out of their mind to survive this long. Got that really good kill against Noko's Palutena, survived the Incineroar. Would have liked to see them survive with maybe 2 stocks. And now, Michigan Tech down to their last player. It might be Geyser, who we haven't seen today. Might be Psych with DDD. Either way, probably going to see another heavy on heavy fight. I kind of lean towards Psych. I think Psych is just good. I think just, matchup-wise, throw it out the window. I think Psych is just a better player than the Mini. No offense to Mini. I think Psych is just really, really good based on what we've seen. So I think that's an option too. Maybe Geyser's been sitting around all day and wants to play too, wants their turn to play some Smashy Bros, and maybe they send him in. Either way, it's just what's one stock on Ridley. I would imagine Michigan's going to be able to clean this up, but I don't want to count Mini out because I've done it before. I did it against Palutena, counted them out, they won that. I did it against Triple C, counted them out, they ended up winning that. So I really feel like if anybody can make this comeback, it is Mini, which is very odd to say because I was doubting them not that long ago.
If they just had that second stock left, right?
Yeah.
That makes all the difference. It's hard for Ridley to work back from a deficit unless they're landing like Ridley sides or like down Bs or something like that, or getting like a solid, down throw back air. This is doable, but Mini has to be all over these Gordos, right? The Gordos are going to get a lot of damage on Ridley if he's not careful, and obviously your general game plan here is to nair or forward tilt or even forward air those Gordos. DD's going to be looking for that, and DD can also easily kill on Ridley. I mean, forward smash will kill early, jet hammer will kill early, and you can even cheese with the inhale. So can Mini outsmart this DD? It does come down to these last 2 players. Oh, but I love that by Psych already getting a little bit of an edge here, using that middle platform to ride the Gordo over the charged fireballs for Mini to get that first blood. And this is a lot of this matchup is kind of just sitting in the air, trying to keep that Nair active as long as possible. But the double hit on the Gordo, and Mini taking a lot of unnecessary damage already out of the gate.
And yeah, you could not afford to take that quick 64 right now. Honestly, in a perfect world, if you're Mini, you wanted to take this stock while taking probably like less than 30, but you're already at 90, 78, getting hit by every single Gordo right now. It really feels like already at 90, the up tilt and one more up air is going to do it if they do go for it. Nope. Go for that Gordo spit out. Couldn't quite get it. Hard read.
Oh no, goes for it. No way. The inhale catches him. And that's it. Falling with style. Michigan Tech will take the dub off of a crazy D2D inhale from Psych, and that is it. Your winner is Michigan Tech University with a 2-0 series win. The scoreboard doesn't make it look as close as it was, but it was Michigan Tech, especially in that game 2.
What a way to go out. What a way to go out. But hey, you know what? When you're up 3 stocks, up 2 stocks, whatever it was, you could afford to do that, as we're going to see that final kill right there. And unfortunately for DBU and Mini, like, hats off to them. That was a valiant effort. I doubted them, not going to lie. It's on tape, yes, you heard me doing it, but they played out of their mind those last few matches, did very, very well. And you know what? If they had one more stock, like you said, I really feel like there was a chance that they maybe could have done it. But hey, that's competition. Someone has to lose, someone has to win. And our winners were Michigan Tech. And let's talk about them real quick. A very solid team. This is the first time we got to see them on broadcast today. I really feel like Noko was kind of their X factor there. But everyone else we saw, Mac the Greninja, very, very solid. Didn't get to see Geyser, unfortunately. Psych, again, just came in, did exactly what they needed to do. Triple C, didn't have the best set, but for the most part didn't do anything terribly. Kind of just stayed the course a bit. Wasn't really a plus or a negative. Was just kind of there in the middle. I really think first time seeing this team, very solid all around. They're gonna have a very interesting playoff, as well. I feel like there are a couple teams that are going to match up very well against them. Like we just saw Oakland. I feel like if they, if there's a world where they fight Oakland, it's going to be two very, evenly matched teams up against each other where, no one player is really that much better than anyone else. But either way, that's for the future. But yeah, shouts to Michigan Tech. I'm going to be interested in seeing them later on. I do kind of want to see Geyser as well. We didn't get to see them. But yeah, hey, either way, Michigan Tech moving on. Congrats to them.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to point out that I was 2-0 for predictions tonight. You were 1-1. I'm sorry. I got to make sure. I know it's not going to come across below us here, but it's coming across in my head. Interesting you bring that up, though, because Michigan Tech actually already lost to Oakland in the conference playoffs. So if they were to play Oakland again, they'd be down 0-1 in that series. So maybe they do get that revenge. I think you're right. Michigan Tech is a really strong team. I think their problem, though, is just their character pool, right? Like, when you start to really get to the upper echelon of these teams, having, like, D and Bowser and Incineroar, even in some cases like Greninja, like, I can see this team struggling against, like, a Northwood, right?
Yeah,
where, like,
exactly
Noko is, like, a extremely strong player, but and even all these players are really good, but just their character choices, matchup-wise, are going to be hard to deal with. But not going to count them out. There obviously are victors here tonight. They played great. Both teams did, but Michigan Tech did a fantastic job. I think that character pool might come to bite them in the end, but we'll see. I mean, they had a 4-2 run of the regular season. They got this dub, their first dub on the broadcast, and they've survived the last chance qualifier so far. So hats off to them, and I believe we will be getting an interview with them in just a moment. So don't forget, we have to relay the best wishes and shout outs from Oakland. So which again, interestingly enough, they had these teams that had competed against each other in the conference playoffs, and it was Oakland who knocked this team down. And just looking at the character pools, for example, I'm not surprised that like a Pac-Man, Lucina, Ken, Wolf, Kazuya, Sephiroth had a good job against Greninja and an Incineroar and Bowser and D, right? I want to definitely shout out Mini doing a great job on that. Ridley,
great job.
Unfortunate that Torchy went down early, and then obviously Conk and King Cannon did a good job as well. But let's jump into that interview we do have waiting for us here, Michigan Tech, and it will be Carp coming in. First of all, congratulations on the dub.
Thank you very much.
So I gotta say, we were really impressed with what we saw there. That first set was very, very close, came down to the wire, but in that second set, I feel like the scoreboard doesn't really indicate how much you guys were really winning. What adjustments did you make from game 1 to game 2 to widen the gap like that?
I think it was really just being more prepared with who we knew we were up against. We were pretty confident who we were going to send in this game set series from the beginning, but we were thinking about maybe switching out one of our players, and in the end, we decided that it was working well enough, so we just kept with what we got. And I think that maybe that Yoshi going against our Greninja at the beginning, Torchy versus Mac, I think that really helped us out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mac versus Torchy was a bit closer game 1, but then game 2, Mac had a really strong hold on the matchup against that Yoshi. What do you think was maybe the game changer in Mac kind of approaching that matchup differently?
I think that he's a really experimentative player, and he was taking that stock that he had there, trying to figure out what he could do against Torchy there. And I think that since he had more stocks going into that, he was getting a bit closer into figuring out what he could and could not do in that matchup. It's not really something that we've seen a lot around here, so we had a lot of adjusting to do to it.
So you got out the LCQ, you made it, playoffs coming up very, very shortly if you get that far. What are you thinking going into your next few matches? Are you confident? Are you, a little uneasy? This match is maybe that first game a little bit closer than maybe you would have wanted. Like, how are you feeling going forward?
I feel like it actually went about as I expected. I mean, we're pretty far in the season here, so I'm expecting that anybody we see is going to be pretty skilled here. And not to say that anybody else isn't, but I was really expecting that it might be a tough game, and we'll probably continue to have these tough games, but I'm really confident in our team and what we can do.
And you definitely should be. And also, by the way, Oakland was very confident in y'all as well. They threw y'all a shout out. We're looking forward to having y'all play and win, so we're happy to relay that. And on that note, any shout outs for anyone on the team or any fans or anything like that? Anything message you want to get out there after this big dub?
I guess be watching. We're going to be coming for you guys, and good luck to everyone else.
I love to hear it, Carp. Thank you so much. We're going to let you go celebrate with your team, and good luck the rest of the way, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one. All right. Well, that was it. We had two fantastic matches here tonight. Honestly, I was expecting, and we almost saw both of those series go the distance to game 3. I'm actually kind of surprised that it didn't, but for this last chance qualifier broadcast tonight, I think we had some fantastic action.
No, we had some great action, and if you want to be a part of a giveaway, ROTC is giving away an incredible backpack. You can see it right there, the Herschel backpack. Please go to Nace Star League's Twitter if you want to participate. All information is there, and if you don't know about Herschel backpacks, they are fantastic. I own one myself, and honestly, I have never used a better bag. So once again, go to Nace Star League's Twitter if you want more information on that. But yeah, Dak, like you said, it was great. We had such a good, 2 matches today. I feel like as we've gone further on into the season, like early on, we were getting a lot of blowouts, a lot of, easy, 2-0 victories where it wasn't close from the beginning. And now we're starting to see, as we get into, deeper into the season, eventually leading up to playoffs, this is the best of the best. This is going to be where the good teams are only fighting other good teams. I don't expect to see too many blowouts coming up next. But hey, everybody, this is going to be the end for us today. But we do have a lot of video games coming up tomorrow. We actually have some more Super Smash Brothers. We have the second part of the LCQ. Also have some Rocket League. Saturday, we got Overwatch 2 with more Rocket League. And same with Sunday. We got a lot of Rocket League. 3 days straight of Rocket League. Didn't even realize that. Also got some more Overwatch 2 on Sunday. So hey, we have video games all week long. And you know what? We're getting into playoffs. Grand Finals is coming up in 3 weeks? It's going to be here before you know it. Season's already been 2 months in the blink of an eye? Crazy.
Honestly, it feels like we literally just started doing this and seeing all these teams and getting to know all these teams and these players. But I mean, that's how it goes, right? Especially here at Nace Star League. Of course, we couldn't do this without all our fantastic partners. We have Extra Life, Corsair, Monster, BetterHelp, Duncan, Mavix. Be sure to shout them out. ROTC. We have Garmin, and we have so many great sponsors here. Make sure you give them some love, as well as Nace Star League on Twitter as well. I mean, at least for my last words here, that was a fantastic broadcast. I was happy to see Oakland return on the broadcast, as well as Dallas Baptist. Michigan Tech pulled out a really solid win. Unfortunate that we saw St. Ambrose and Dallas Baptist drop, but they had some solid seasons, both going 3-3 and 4-2 in the regular season respectively. But we are whittling things down to these last few teams, which means the competition is only going to get tougher and tougher as we go on here. I was happy to be here for this broadcast, and of course joining you here, Muse.
Honestly, happy to be here with you too, Dak, and happy to be able to see all these great schools. I fully expect teams like St. Ambrose and DBU, even though they're out, I fully expect them to see them in future seasons doing just as well, if not better. But that is going to be it for us today. But we won't be gone for long. We actually have more LCQs tomorrow, I believe. So please, everyone, stay tuned to the broadcast tomorrow. Also got Rocket League, like you saw, I'm on the schedule. But we will see everybody soon. Man, Nace Star League 2022 is winding down, and you are not going to want to miss the rest of this. But good night, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.